From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health,
someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
All right, Team Good Morning Kenya, assemble. We are here. Good morning. It's 21st day of July 2026. This is Good Morning Kenya. Karibu sana. My name is Victor Lo. So let's talk about politics today, and it's going to be a little bit different from what we have been discussing for the couple of days. Let's talk about political intentions and expectations based on what we are expecting in the next coming year. We're taking lessons from also what happened in Lukalau. What are the intentions and what are the expectations? These are two different things. You'll make a promise, but ground, the way you normally say, vitu kwa slightly different. So in the mind of a politician, there are intentions. And in the mind of Wanjiku and a voter, there are expectations. I want us to discuss that. Please talk to us at Victor Lo, at KBC Channel 1, and at
Vivian Degwa.
And
at Mike Migui.
And at Marie
Yambo.
Very good. The team has assembled. Karibu sana to the show. I'll be joined by Honorable Bernard Kituru, who is a member of Parliament, Nandi Hills constituency. Wafula Mutacho, Ford Kenya chairperson, is also a political analyst and is also vying for a political seat. He'll tell us. Anthony Gitonga, political analyst, is also aspiring for something. Frank Nyamari, an advocate of the High Court. The four gentlemen will be here. Let's talk about that at exactly 7. Vivian.
All right.
Are we okay with that?
We are okay with that.
Good.
And we cannot wait to hear what your panelists have to say concerning that conversation. And my name is Vivian Dagwa. Welcome to the program. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, a bit chilly outside, but well, we are already used to the cold. It is the month of July and we're almost coming to an end of it. Now, today being Tuesday, you know that we talk matters health right here on the show on Healthy Living. And today's conversation will be one that is a bit can be traumatizing, as we will be talking about SGBV, that is sexual gender-based violence, and the silent trauma in most Kenyan homes, or rather let me just say in Kenyan homes and some Kenyan homes. That is the conversation that we will be looking into later, and I will be joined by Dr. Maureen Charagu, who is a medical doctor, a pediatrics and SGBV clinic department at the KUT RRH, that is the Kenyatta University Technical Referral and Research Hospital. That is who will be having on the show for that particular conversation, and you'll be open to just send in your remarks and views on the same later on. That will be from around 9 a.m. So stay with us for that. Mike Megwe, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, perfect morning, and thank you for watching KBC Channel 1. Today I want us to focus on land succession and how we can unlock Kenya's hidden wealth, given that when we talk about matters of economy, the focus usually is around taxation, public debt, investment, unemployment, and a host of other things. But rarely do we have a conversation that touches on matters of land succession and succession law. So that is what we shall be focusing on at around 8 a.m. And I'll be joined by Engineer John Mrutu, who is the Chairman, Agricultural Finance Corporation. He is also the former governor of Taita Taveta County. So I want you to tune into that live broadcast, because that is a very pertinent topic to focus on, given that when we talk about land, it's a very emotive issue. So I invite you to tune into this live broadcast. Marie?
Thank you so much, Mike. A very good morning to all of you joining us here in Nairobi and across the country. Of course, a packed diary in the newsroom where there's going to be health, environment, and innovation events taking place. The Ministry of Health kicks off preparations for the World Breastfeeding Week, focusing on maternal and child nutrition. There's going to be the Kenya Forest Service officially opening Green Zones Development Support Project Resource Center aimed at strengthening sustainable forest management. Meanwhile, leaders in science, research and innovation gather for the Africa Technology Leadership Conference to explore the future of technology and innovation on the continent. All that will be covered for you today. My colleagues will be up and about just looking for those stories, including politics, business, and also sports. But this morning, we want to begin in the courts, where the hearing of the murder case of the late teacher cum blogger Albert Ojwang began on Monday at the Kibra Law Courts, with the first prosecution witness testifying that CCTV footage was tampered with after the incident at the Central Police Station in Nairobi. Justice Diana Kavetsa also heard that under the orders of the former officer commanding station, Samson Talam, the CCTV footage was deleted manually to conceal evidence of what transpired in the police cells on the night of June 2025.
At the start of the murder trial to establish circumstances that led to the death of Albert Omondi Ojwang, the prosecution team led by Gekoi Geshoe told the court they have a watertight case to show the teacher cum blogger was killed in custody.
And being a police.
Taking to the witness stand, Alonio Kwako, a CCTV operator, testified that he was asked to arrive at the Central Police Station in Nairobi with 2 new flash disks.
Na ilikuwa vile ulisema uliingia ofisi ya OCS. Ilikuwa wapi kwa hiyo ofisi? Na pahali ilikuwa wapi?
Ilikuwa kwa ukuta, karibu ilikuwa kwa ukuta na TV pamoja hapo hivi.
Later that day, Okwako claimed he was also called by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, detectives to help retrieve a certain CCTV footage.
Waliniambia after kupiga picha wamemaliza kila kitu, wakaanza kuchukua record, wakaanza sasa naweza kufungua. Nilipata DVR, the power connector, ilikuwa imedisconnectiwa.
He also informed the court that while checking the CCTV footage, he noticed the machine was switched off and manipulated.
Na ilikuwa hapo.
Next to testify was a protected witness, a police officer who was on duty at the Central Police Station in Nairobi. She stated that she had the former OCS Samson Talam order deletion of the CCTV footage.
Ulishikwa na nani?
Yes, officers.
Unajua siku ile ulishikwa? Tarehe gani? 13th of June.
Yes.
Okay. So ulishikwa na DCI officers, mkafanya nini?
Walipeleka kwa hiyo ripota yao.
Ulikuwa na mtu mwingine?
Yes.
Ulikuwa na nani?
The hearing will continue on Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, where more witnesses are expected to testify. Talam and his 5 co-accused have been in custody since their arrest after they were denied bond. Ruth Wamboi for Good Morning, Kenya.
Still in the courts where Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and Director of Criminal Investigations Mohammed Amin honored a summons at the Milimani High Court, where families of 3 men who disappeared under unclear circumstances on Sunday, June 21st, 2026, from 3 different locations in Nairobi County testified. Details in our Skills of Justice segment. Justice Alexander Muteti had ordered Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and Director of Criminal Investigations Mohammed Amin to present themselves in court to explain the whereabouts of 3 missing persons, Evans Omondi, Macmilla Kiare, and Michael Osoro. Kanja and Amin were, however, allowed to leave while family members of the 3 missing men testified. The matter was adjourned to Thursday, July 23, 2026, where an additional 3 witnesses are expected to testify.
That's why I'm giving you 11:30, so that you find the way here for the sake of the families.
Elsewhere, 23-year-old Amos Nyingi Wambua, who is the prime suspect in the murder of a woman and her 2 children in Kathiani, Machakos County, has been arraigned before the Machakos law courts. However, he did not take a plea after the prosecution requested 5 more days to complete investigations.
Niliweza kuona mguu wa mtoto mchanga ambao ulikuwa umebebwa na mbwa na ukapelekwa katika boma lililo karibu na kichaka. Hapo ndipo tulipigia polisi simu kujia hiyo mguu.
Tunauliza wananchi mahali popote walipo, kama kuna mtu amepoteza watu wao, ikiwezekana wapige ripoti polisi ili waweze kuelekezwa kwenye chumba cha kuhifadhi maiti Kathiani, waone kama waweza kutambua hiyo miili.
And in Bomet County, 3 men were arraigned at the Sotik Magistrates Court facing 6 counts of cheating. The accused denied all the charges and were each given a bond of 2 million shillings. The case will be mentioned on Thursday, July the 30th, 2026.
It entered for each accused persons. Each accused is hereby admitted to a bond of 2 million shillings with 1 surety or cash bail of 1 million each, or be remanded in custody. Mentioned on 30th of this month, 2026.
And away from the courts, we look at matters education. Secondary schools have until Friday, July 24th, 2026. I beg your pardon, 2026 to submit learners' data that will determine the release of government capitation. The Minister of Education warns that schools and education officers who fail to comply risk denying thousands of learners critical funding. Or at the same time, the government is stepping up efforts to strengthen inclusive education through a nationwide assessment of learners with disabilities. Let's get the details of that story. The Ministry of Education has issued a final call to secondary schools to submit learner records before the Friday, July 24th, 2026 deadline, saying the data will determine the release of government capitation and support education planning across the country. Speaking during a sensitization forum on assistive devices and technologies at the Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE, The ministry's head of Directorate of Field Coordination, Nelson Sifuna, said only 2.6 million learners' records have been received against an expected 3.2 million.
We are giving timelines so that they go and ensure by that time all the children have been enrolled in KBC, and where there are challenges, we come in to assist.
He noted that beyond determining capitation for secondary schools, the data will also guide planning and resource allocation for learners in primary and junior schools.
Any projection that we do will be based on the data that is in KBC. That is why we are requesting, we started with the senior school, and it is ongoing. We want them to accelerate to ensure all the learners are captured.
The forum also focused on strengthening inclusive education. According to KISE Director Dr. Norman Kiogora, the institute has been given 2 months to coordinate a nationwide needs assessment to identify learners with disabilities.
We should be able to come up with a tool to help us know the needs of all the learners, so that the factory can be useful in giving specific devices to address specific needs of all the learners, so that it becomes useful to them.
The findings are expected to guide evidence-based interventions and improve access to inclusive education across the country. Police in Isinya, Kajiado County have arrested a 30-year-old man over the murder of a 23-year-old woman. Detectives say the suspect, who is a former boyfriend of the deceased, was apprehended at his hideout in Mala, that is along Kangundo Road.
Grief and anguish engulfed the family of 23-year-old Gaudensia Amwai as they struggled to come to terms with her demise in what detectives believe is a case of femicide. Gaudensia's body was discovered in her rental house at Suko's estate by her boyfriend after she failed to answer phone calls. A post-mortem conducted at Kitengela Sub-County Hospital established that she died from manual strangulation.
Head injury, it is there, but is not the cause of death. Then everything else was intact. And we are looking for defense injuries which we did not see. So hakuwa na chance ya kujikinga.
Family members say the deceased had previously complained of threats from her former boyfriend after their relationship ended nearly a year ago, but never imagined the threats would end in tragedy.
Former ex wake walikuwa wameachana 1 year, tuseme like 1 year ago. Juu alikuja current Kitengela, the ex hako Kamulu. So walikuwa kila mtu ako pathway. Sasa huyu alikuwa ameanza life yake. Sasa ndio akakuja huku. Ni kama alikuja kumwattack na huku mali anaishi. Juu alianza new relationship. I think ili hatu mse ndiye akakuja kumaliza.
Ningeomba tu serikali tusaidie kulingana na uchunguzi wake vile inafanyikana. Tuweze kujua tunaweza kufanya namna gani. Hatuna lolote tunaweza fanya sababu imetendeka na ni uchungu. Jinsi nilivyomuona kama amekuwa, dalili yake sioni kama niko na nguvu sana.
The Senior Sub-County Criminal Investigations Officer says detectives cracked down the suspect at a hideout in Mala along Kangundo Road, and he is expected to be arraigned in court as investigators seek more time to complete investigations.
The Union of Kenya Civil Servants has rejected the government's latest salary review, dismissing it as a standard annual increment and not a pay rise. Union officials led by the Secretary General Lawrence Socheng say the Salaries and Remuneration Commission did not factor in the proposals by the union that considered the harsh economic realities. They are now giving SRC and the Public Service Ministry a 14-day ultimatum to stop the implementation and return to the negotiating table or face a national strike.
Just days after the Ministry of Public Service and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, noted a salary increase for civil servants effective July 2026. Solidarity forever. Union of Kenya Civil Servants has come out to reject the implementation, saying it is not a review but a normal increment, and further accusing the government of over-publicizing what they term as minor adjustments.
We have rejected it in total. Nothing. There's nothing here for civil servants. These are normal incrementals. We take issue with SRC and the PS because what has been published and what is purported as salary incrementals are mere annual incrementals that is already guaranteed.
The Union of Kenya Civil Servants has accused its employer and SRC of refusing to consider its counter-offer.
This letter that is on social media comes when the union has not completed its negotiations. We accepted and absorbed what we were given as basic salary for the cycle 2025 to 2028. But the only point of negotiation was that that was not adequate. And therefore we did our counter-proposal, and we said that that money, instead of spreading it to 2028, it is an opportunity for public service to have harmonized salaries. That is the opportunity that the PS and SRC has denied civil servants.
On allowances, the union says house and commute allowances were last reviewed in 2011, with the lowest cadre getting 2,500 Kenya shillings and 3,000 Kenya shillings respectively.
Civil servants earn house allowance of 2,500. There is no house in this country. There is no landlord in this country who can house someone for 2,500 per month. In the review, it has remained the lowest, it has remained 2,500.
The union's proposal is 6,000 Kenya shillings for a dignified housing and an increase to 4,800 for commuter allowance at the least.
They have refused to listen to public servants. We are left with no other option but also to simultaneously take legal action. If they can't stop it, we'll stop it in court. If they stop it, we will withdraw our court case. We have never, for a long time, as civil servants, gone on strike. But I'm telling you that this one, we will, if they don't respond within 14 days.
I look at business now, where women and youth-owned businesses should strengthen their understanding of cross-border market requirements and improve their competitiveness to fully benefit from opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area. State Department for Trade Secretary Michael Mandu says access to information and practical export skills are the key challenges faced by micro, small and medium enterprises keen on cross-border trade.
What the procedures are, the clearance at the border, and
many women and youth-led enterprises are yet to benefit from the various bilateral deals secured by Kenya due to limited awareness of export procedures, financing constraints and inadequate export market information.
Government, we are working with the private sector, the financial institutions, to put on the table financing frameworks that are easier for the women to access.
There's still a lot of information gaps with regards to appreciating what are the protocols that they need to use, what are the challenges that they are currently facing when they do it practically.
Speakers at a two-day capacity building workshop on Africa Continental Free Trade Area in Nairobi say many micro, small and medium enterprises still lack the information needed to export products to other African countries. They also cite lengthy border procedures among other trade barriers as the biggest challenges facing small businesses.
It's important that the women learn on how to trade in the most cost-effective way. So by the end of the two-day workshop, we hope that the women will have more access to markets.
Make the knowledge simple. Make the knowledge, the tools for exporting, make them as simple as possible. Let the also customs also help these people to export as quickly as possible.
We're not talking about theoretical constructs at all. This is how do I get my goods from Nairobi across a border post to my buyer in Lagos, Nigeria, or to Accra in Ghana.
The two-day workshop seeks to equip women and youth traders with practical knowledge and compliance requirements and market intelligence to enhance their participation in intra-African commerce. Trevor Ngento for Prime Edition.
We look at sports now. The stage is now set for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled to kick off this Sunday in Rabat, with Kenya's
Harambee
Starlets participating for the second time. Let's get the details of that story.
Advertising in France will kick off their campaign on Sunday from 11 p.m. against host Morocco in Group A's opening campaign at the Mole El Hassan Stadium. The opening match between Algeria and Senegal will start at 8 p.m. at the Rabat Olympic Stadium. The quarterfinals will take place on the 8th and 9th of August, with the winners advancing to the semi-finals on the 12th of August in Rabat. Teams have everything to play for, as those who will be eliminated in the quarterfinals will still remain in the contest for the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027 playoffs on the 13th of August in Casablanca. Harambee Starlets are targeting nothing short of qualification in the Women's World Cup to emulate the Junior Starlets who qualified for their second World Cup this year. Meanwhile, back in Kenya, the FIFA Elite MA referee course kicked off today, bringing together Kenya's top officials for a week of intensive learning, practical sessions, and professional development.
Well, that's where we bring the news to a close this morning. Thank you so much for your time and your company, and for choosing to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Maria, and of course the Good Morning Kenya crew still is in studio and will be steering you through the rest of the program. Do stay tuned for more news updates within the day.
There's only one path here. Fomalhaut's cell is on the mountainside. I wonder if Tai Wei has retrieved the fruit.
General Meng, this is a letter from the Mirror Village. Read it.
Move are you?
Sorry? Where? Ongea lugha ya taifa.
Mheshimiwa, hii kesi najua naweza kukuachia.
Uniachie.
Where electronics were moving there, and yet I myself I know to use power banks.
Yeah?
Kwa nini unanunua vitu za second hand na ile hali hata ucheuliza zimetoka wapi?
Mimi niliuliza mahali ilitoka. Siwe nakumbuka mimi niliuliza wewe kitambulisho.
Mimi hujaniuliza.
Hii CCTV kamera hata nilitumiwa footage na mimi na kuona kabisa bila unaleta vyombo. Tena hauna aibu. Unatumia bado ile ofisi kaa ambayo nilikupatia ya kampuni.
Semeji, ujue tu nikifungwa mimi semeji yangu na yako imeisha.
Hakuna shida, unajua bile dada yako alisema kama ni mwizi funga.
Na kama mtanifunga hizo vitu mniwekee vizuri, mimi nikimaliza kifungo nisichukue mheshimiwa.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's now 5 minutes past 7 a.m. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Let's do this, talk about politics and everything in between. The reason why the race is already on. Anybody will tell you that the race to 2027 elections is on. But then today, let's talk about questions about political intentions versus expectations. What is really happening out there is basically what Wanjiku wants and what the leaders and politicians actually promise. So it's about the promises and the deliverables. That is what is going to be forming our discussion today, because based on what is happening across the country, it seems that Mwananchi is expecting a lot from the politicians who during campaigns make promises, and that is basically what propels them to leadership positions. So let's talk about political intentions and expectations. I know Mheshimiwa Bernard Kituru will tell us that all of them are one and the same thing, Wongo. Okay, I'll introduce them shortly. Let me take you through the front page of the local daily. So on this Daily Nation, Untouchables. This is complete relations to what happened in Olkalau. Untouchables, okay. The Daily Nation has given an illustration, and yeah, this is a photo of one of the alleged hooded men who, this must be a tear gas launcher, or this basically pictures that were taken in Olkalau last week. And the Daily Nation says that 4 days after the armed hooded men in flashy vehicles unleashed terror on residents during the Olkalau by-election last Thursday, there have been no arrests yet. Police are yet to summon the registered owners of vehicles captured in the chaotic scenes, including an MP as well as several individuals caught on camera appearing to engage in voter bribery and other electoral offenses to record statements. This has raised questions as to whether the latest investigation will stall like over a dozen others involving violent gangs attacking unarmed civilians. So a team from DCI headquarters still waiting for, quote unquote, for complainants to file reports. Frank will tell us whether this is the right way to go. Kama wakili, there must be a complainant. Okay, so there is that question why Gachagua and to Kindiki's defense. Gachagua to Kindiki's defense. In a surprise development, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has vowed to shield his successor Kithure Kindiki from attacks by his political opponents. That's an interesting read there. It continues on page 7. XDP says that his successor should be spared political attacks as he turns fire on President Ruto and CS Murkomen. Hey, okay. So let me take you through the front page of the Star. The Star says that 100,000 teachers hired in 3 years and 16,000 jobs on way. The counties that received the highest allocation in numbers, you can take a look. There's Bungoma, not Bungoma, there's Kitui, Kakamega, Bungoma, Nakuru, Machakos, Makueni, Homa Bay, Kisii, Meru, and Narok. All of them ranging from 4,000, and Narok receiving the least, 2,992. It's down there. You can take a look. And here, the political backyard, unease grips Matiang'i comes as Gusii allies align with Edwin Sifuna. Okay? From there, the question of Baba, Raila's traditional bases feel the strain as ODM top leaders focus on Nyanza. Okay, interesting there as well. And finally, panic in the valley. There's panic in the valley. And the gentleman on the front page, this is President William Ruto. Okay. Panic in the valley. This is what the Standard is reporting. The Standard says that the turnout in Olkalau did more than fill a vacant parliamentary seat. It shook the political bedrock of Rift Valley. For President William Ruto's inner circle, the by-election result has evolved from a single electoral upset into a political alarm. At the weekend, the president's allies, led by head of public service Felix Koskei, rallied the Kalenjin community to register as voters in large numbers, warning that President Ruto faces what they described as a monumental threat. The message was unmistakable. Every new voter card could either reinforce their political base or strengthen the opposition. With the DCP showing the ground is no longer as solid as once thought, the race to register, mobilize, and secure every vote has begun, turning the routine exercise of voter registration into the first battleground in the run-up to 2027. Basically, that is an interesting bit in our local dailies. All right, Sawa. Apologies. It happens. So let me come back and talk to, yes, I have to, on his case, Frank, he sits over the fence. He doesn't want to announce his position. Gentlemen, we have to push him. Lazima announce. Where do you stand?
I stand here where I have a responsibility of guiding the people who are in this panel as far as law is concerned and delivery of service in regards to what the Constitution envisages them to do is concerned. And I will preach that gospel up until 2027 and even beyond. Thereafter, wakishindwa na kazi nao nitakuja.
Yeah. There's something he's saying.
He's attacking and defending at the same time.
He has made a fact that don't force him into this shaky water. Yeah.
He doesn't want it.
Yeah. He'll
Okay.
come when it is settled.
The one talking is Omwami. Everybody calls you Omwami now.
Yes.
Wafula Mutacho. He's the Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. He's also eyeing Saboti constituency seat, right?
Yes.
Exactly. We wish all the best as well.
Thank
And
you.
next to him is Member of Parliament representing the people of Nandi Hills. Mheshimiwa Bedan Kituru. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Victor, and good morning, viewers. Great again to be here. It's been a while.
Yes.
Yes.
Good to see
very
you as well.
excited to be here.
Let's start with you. On the front pages of the local dailies and straight to the Daily Standard. Is there panic in the valley?
None. Those are just creations of the media. A few journalists who have been, they are configured, they have been advised. They have always, Standard, you always know their view of government and other business deals behind that has made them always anything that is negative is what they would want to always project. All the positive things that the government is doing, they are always deaf and numb and blind to it. I was in those events where generally we've been advising our communities to register. Just as even this morning, I would encourage every Kenyan to indeed register themselves to participate in this very important exercise coming in 2027. I was in that event where it's claimed that the head of public service did mention, just as he's been advising the community and everybody else and every Kenyan, that please register yourselves and participate in the next forthcoming general election. So there's nothing to talk about panic in the valley because of the Olkalau elections. Olkalau elections was just, by-elections was just one of the small by-elections. We've done
Was it one
10.
of the small by-elections?
Yes, exactly. We've done close to 10 by-elections where broad-based government, UDA, Kenya Kwanza, and broad-based government has been able to win 9 out of 10. So the one in Olkalau, we are giving too much clout for no apparent reason at all. It was just one of the by-elections that we probably may have lost it, but there is nothing so much to worry. No absolute cause for worry.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. One of those by-elections that probably they might, his word is so, is quite poetic.
Yeah.
They might have just lost it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want, good morning once again, and thank you for having me. I want to disagree with Mheshimiwa and say that there is not just panic in the valley, but there is panic of gigantic proportions. And that is why you see now everything is helter-skelter. You cannot in any way demean the results of Olkalau by-election. These are people speaking. And these are people speaking loudly about many things. One, about a political party called UDA, which they're saying this is not our party anymore. And then it's also really, however you want to look at it, it's a vote of no confidence, all right? Don't just say it's just one of those by-elections that the government might have lost. It's also telling us that, we've had many narratives and theory And we've heard, for example, that President William Ruto has never lost an election.
Yes.
This was his own election. He invested heavily in Ol Kalou by-election, but he lost. And it's not just a win. We're also looking at the numbers. We are looking at 35,000 people, all right, who said no to this government, to UDA, to President William Ruto, against just about 5,000. So we cannot in any way demean or look down the by-election of Ol Kalou. These are people speaking and speaking loudly, and this is also really going to give us the trajectory in towards 2027. You know, what are the issues to discuss? Why are people disappointed? And like I've said, it's a vote of no confidence, one, to unmet promises. It's a vote of no confidence by people who were saying, you betrayed our own, all right? When Rigathi Gachagua, my party leader, was impeached, the word was that he was going to be forgotten in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Now people are shocked that the man they thought would be forgotten in 2 weeks is now the man that everybody is looking up to, is now the man in the mountain that all of us really are looking up to in terms of political direction and so on. So we cannot in any way say that it was just that other by-election. And I want to challenge the government brigade.
Yes.
They're talking about 9 by-election, but if you look at the cumulative numbers, all right, the cumulative numbers in terms of how many people voted for them versus how many people voted against them, we still have the numbers.
In all the 9?
In all the 9.
Okay, what are
now,
the numbers?
Now bringing Ol Kalou to 10.
Yes.
If you look at the numbers, forget about, for example, the Mbeere North, all right? They might have, they may say they won, but it was a difference of about 500 votes in Mbeere North. All right? But here we're talking about a difference of 30,000. Those are numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers, like I said in the other show, numbers are really the reference point when it comes to politics. So I think there is great panic, and I want to agree with Felix Kosgei that it is, they're calling it a monumental threat, all right, that has begun in Ol Kalou, and that is exactly how it's going to be. And I don't see how things are going to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Victor.
Yes.
I think we should not allow such kind of narratives to be peddled, because those are pure lies. You don't come from the Rift Valley. I do come from the Rift Valley.
We read
It is
from
my
the
turn to
newspapers.
respond to you.
We read from the newspaper.
We all listen to you when you're speaking, so you better be quiet.
Go ahead.
Listen, we've had 9 by-elections from across the country. The ones that is trying to refer is the one from probably,
Mbeere North.
Mbeere North, all right? So, do you know where their position? This one was in the region where probably tribalism is actually been one of the rooted narrative that is quite unfortunate for this nation. This is a nation that we want to unite our country. And the other 9, if you want to study it well, even several other places, DCP could not be able to put up their candidate in those places, okay? So you don't reduce the entire nation to a particular region. And that is why they are shouting. They are like a chicken which has just laid an egg. You are talking about us like a cow who gives milk to the entire nation, and we don't shout too much. So this is just one of the small things that just happened, as I indicated, but it has no relation whatsoever for what is going to happen in 2027. Let me tell you, Victor, in 2027, it is going to be a country battling between a president who gave an agenda, he gave a manifesto. Has he been able to deliver the manifesto? Across the country right now, we are talking about development every corner. And when they come, they just want to talk about a fellow who failed in his job, he was not even able to finish his quarter term. He was kicked out, not by government, but by parliament, right? And now, the only thing he can do is to reduce himself into a particular region, play with the minds of the particular section of our country and tell them we are being attacked. No. In fact, let me tell you, the candidate who won in Ol Kalou, President William Ruto, I can tell you, is more than even willing to work with him to bring development, because the president to bring development, even in Ol Kalou, just as been doing in every corner of this
it's
country.
Not a favor.
And therefore, I'm talking, Dr. So please be patient. So finally, I just wanted to tell you, my friend, please rise above tribalistic lenses and let's discuss this thing from a country's perspective. And for the record, right, Rift Valley, we are settled. You saw if the results were released by IEBC, if I want to go that direction and say of the 24 million Kenyans who've so far registered to participate in the elections. If you
Mhm.
want to try and go to that, if I want to reduce myself to the level of Daktari's position,
Yes.
and try to look at the tribalistic nature of analyzing things, let me tell you, my friend,
Just a point.
well set.
Just a point.
I
Victor.
opened this field because
it's an
of
important one.
Okay.
Emurua Dikir, the results of that by-election, we had 10,000 people voting for DCP. What does that say? What does that tell us? Because he now wants to reduce the conversation.
Against how many?
Against about 17,000.
Okay.
So 10,000, forget about that win.
So,
you have 10,000. So are you saying that they're also tribalistic? Are you calling the 10,000 who voted for DCP in Emurua Dikir, are they Kikuyus?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't
because,
one on
no,
one.
I'm just, it's a conversation.
When you do
Because
analysis,
you have reduced
bring
that
the
conversation to
entire
tribalism.
nine, right?
All right?
Bring the entire
No,
nine.
it's about particular
and
cases.
7,000
It's about
is not a
particular
small
cases.
number.
But
all right?
10,000?
There is an issue that is happening in Emurua Dikir, a sense of some rebellion. So let's not talk about
how
that.
comes now there are issues
but we are
everywhere?
still talking about a 7,000 difference in that particular respect.
Forget about the difference.
Therefore,
Let's talk about the
bring
10,000.
on the entire 8 by-elections. Right?
So
if
what
you
is
want to
wrong
have
with
a
the
proper
Emurua Dikir?
analysis.
How important, gentlemen, how important was this? How important was this by-election? Frank, good morning. How important was this by-election?
You know, Victor, I told you last time that the mountain and the Rift Valley are now in loggerheads. But we in the Abagusi land, we are very peaceful.
I see what you're trying to do.
And you can see how peaceful we are in this bench.
I see what you're trying to do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And even the people from Western,
yes,
they are here. You can see how chilled they look in this, in all this. But then we must not forget that Kenya is one. We must not forget that Kenyans are going to run into an election. That we must not forget that the people are not the same 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and they're not going to be the same 2 years to come, and even next year. But then the question that we always want to ask ourselves is that the leaders who are, for example, those who are in this panel, what are they going to present to the people? How are they going to ensure that what Mheshimiwa and Mheshimiwa are saying about tribalism is not a subject of discussion come the elections? We move forward as a nation, knowing that we are one people and speaking ideology to mwananchi in terms of service delivery. Not who comes from where, not who comes from what. I think Kenyans are one, and Kenya is just one country. We don't have any other place to go. We need to fix our minds in the realm of development and growth and inspiration that comes genuinely from what the Constitution gives us. It gives us the diversity. It tells us that we are one people. It gives us the unity in terms of the presidency. It gives us a lot of things that we need to embrace.
You speak so well, but when it comes 2027, you know what happens.
And that's
all
why,
gates will be open.
And that's why I'm here telling Mheshimiwa and Mheshimiwa that we need to cool down. We need to be sober even as we walk into this election so that we ensure that we are not the, let me say, the fuel that brings about violence that has been sensed. We need to be the people to tell the greater masses that, you know, we are one nation, we are one Kenya, we are one country. We must look at this country beyond elections.
Okay. Sounds easy, but politically I don't think Mheshimiwa Bidari Kithure will take...
It's called ideal situation.
Ideal situation. Omwami, are you peaceful?
Yeah, we are peaceful. Why are you laughing? You have just finished your little celebration in Al Kalau.
Wow.
So that was just, in fact, they are first member of parliament.
Oh yes, that is why.
So they must celebrate, my friend. Don't take them
It's a political party that is 12 months old.
just one
Give it
parliamentary seat.
Jumping all over.
Yes, they
give
must
it to
celebrate
us.
like
We are 12 months old.
our first birthday to a kid. So they must celebrate. But all in all, Victor, what I just want to say, and you remember last time when I was here, I said that this country, we invest a lot of time and money in politics. So much. I wish this issue of campaign could start somewhere toward the end of this year. That could be fair. But immediately we'll finish last
And you are
general
campaigning.
election.
And, and you are campaigning already for Saboti.
Me, I'm just doing some development, not campaigning.
So what is that?
Not campaigning. You know, when I'm called to fundraise something, I come as a member of that community or that place. So that is not campaigning. It's generous giving. Victor. So what I want to say is this, Victor.
The government in Olkalau was also generously giving.
Yeah, that was generous giving. But no, that was campaigning because it was a time for campaigning. It was an election, yeah. But now, Victor, towards 2027 election, I'm actually shocked by most of the utterances coming from leaders at this point of an hour, before even we approach election. These utterances are very, very dangerous. I don't want it to take us to that scenario of 2007 again.
Which utterances?
That,
we need to condemn it.
Yeah. That people will take up responsibility of, you know, if the government don't want to take up the responsibility of security, people will take up the security responsibility. That was very wrong. Utterances like that one. You know, leaders, any leader has followers. Any leader has followers. If you give out such utterances to people will arm themselves. And the scenario of 2007 will come back again, more than even that. I've been in several missions of peace missions. I've seen and I've studied how a civil war comes in, erupts, and how it started. So we don't want our peaceful country to go to that direction. And I urge the responsible bodies at least to be active toward this time of election. Yes, we love this country. And that's why sometimes, and in most cases, Victor, I've told you, even I got US for like 2 weeks, I feel like I've lost a lot. I don't even finish 2 weeks. I come back immediately because so many events are taking over in this country. Now I want to be around to see what is moving forward, the changes. That is what we want to do in Kenya.
And
Victor, allow me maybe to maybe respond to a bit to Wafula Mutacho. And for the record, there were concerns that were raised by the chairperson of the IEBC just before the elections, the by-elections, that he was concerned about the security and what probably would have been happening in Olkalau. And you know very well, and just to give also an assurance to my good debater, a fantastic man, you know, Ford Kenya chairperson in Trans Nzoia, that the way the government provided enough security, there were enough officers in Olkalau, is the same thing that is going to happen in 2027. There will be sufficient security. The aspect of probably trying to fight Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the man who has been able to even silence the Rift Valley in terms of the places, the North Rift, where we had some serious challenges of insecurity, but he's been able to manage it completely. And it's worse off than, you know, it was worse off. It was every time it was shedding blood. To give an assurance that in 2027, there is going to be enough security. There will not be bloodshed or violence the time that we are going to have these elections. Those of they that are now trying to weave narratives of saying that, you know, the league of my friend Dr. Anthony, whom I really wish him very well, is a fantastic, brilliant young person. I would love to have him in Parliament in the next House. Just to know that even as you try to fund this tribalistic, you know, archaic, you know, scaremongering, that there is going to be some, you know, violence in our country. I want to assure you, if there is anything to go by, look at what happened in Olkalau. Despite the fact that I can see all this news being peddled around, and I agree with DCI, nobody has gone to report that we have this, somebody happened to this. These are just the normal machinations and creation stories that happen. You even remember, that is where they've been hovering on. They don't want to talk about the serious issues of development and all those kinds of things. They just want to go into rumor mongering. Just to give an assurance to all Kenyans, we are going to have a peaceful election.
Very good. All right, so with or without any complainant, let's just condemn it. What happened in Olkalau should not happen, honestly. Who dead men firing tear gas and all that. That was so scary.
Can come from Brooklyn.
Victor, yeah,
and these
so
two
scary.
people can come from it. It can even come from Dr. Ketonga's VCP
And
team.
Victor was saying that
just a minute. Next to you is Omwami, and you know where he comes from.
Yes.
So I want to serve him tea.
All right.
But you see, we are calling for all the actors.
A quick break.
We're calling for all the actors to be responsible.
Yes, stay with us.
That's fine.
Kila mwisho wa juma kwenye runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1
tunakuletea Mkulima.
Ni kipindi cha kila mtu.
Iwe wewe ni mkulima mdogo, mkulima mkubwa, muuzaji au mnunuzi,
au yeyote anayenuia kuanzisha kilimo ama ufugaji. Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30,
ambapo kilimo na fursa zinapatikana.
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
True worth is found in Jesus Christ. When you're searching for identity, Jesus meets you with truth and grace.
Talk to someone who feels like, things are out of control. Instead of driving away from the skid, driving into the skid.
And I think for some of us in our faith, when we're in moments of grief or chaos or overwhelm, we think, okay, in order to connect with God best, we have to do it like that other person or the way that we used to do it. But we would be surprised to find out that the best way to experience God is to stare into the skid in the natural way you've been wired, in the season you're actually in.
I started to get so just in love with the Lord, yearning for him, that I sought the Lord not just for him. When I decided to just, instead of balling my fist, I opened my hand. Instead of looking down internally, I started to look up. And it was in this desperate offering that the Lord met me.
Mama, son. Ooh.
We are back. Welcome back. Mom is now happy.
Yes, I'm okay.
Very good.
Though it is hot water,
so all of us
serves me good.
Very nice. So all of us have gained because of you.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Wafula Mutacho is for the Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County, and Honorable Bernard Kitur, Member of Parliament, Nandi Hills constituency. Anton Gitonga is a political analyst. He's also eyeing Othaya constituency, and Frank Nyamari, advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So let's go. Before you took a break, you wanted to say something, Anthony.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think there is a bigger picture that we are missing, which we must call out as a country. And this is the issue of, yes, Mheshimiwa has spoken very well about security. I think first, security is not a privilege, it's a right. All of us as Kenyans are entitled to security, to safer environments, to be able to do business, to be able to run our things. But this issue of goonism and gangs is something that we must really condemn. It was not entirely secure in Ol Kalou. I was there, all right? We lost 2 men in that by-election. We have people coming in serious vehicles in balaclavas and masks, all right, trying to scare everybody. Shooting around, it's like Olkalau was Haiti, it's like Kenya has become Haiti. That is something that we must call out. That is something we must condemn. And the saddest thing is that we haven't seen anybody in government condemn this. Now, what they're telling us is that there's nobody who is going to file a complaint.
The CS condemned that.
All right? Yes. No, it is not right. We must see action. It happened in Wetima, remember? All right? These people, these goons being brought to a church in a police vehicle. Nothing has happened. Nothing has ever happened to date. We have seen it in many towns. The other day, we saw the same men stopping traffic along Thika Road. What country are we in? We saw the same men in balaclavas getting into a hotel in General Mathenge and stealing from everybody. Now, how do you explain in serious Prados and vehicles, you have people standing on the rooftop of vehicles and shooting? It's like a war zone. That is a very dangerous indicator if that is how things are going to be in 2027. We must call it out, we must condemn it, and we must demand for peace and safety in our country.
I think that's a good point.
You know, in most cases, when incidents of that kind happens, people condemn the police so much, not knowing that the police, if they are not there, those rowdy people take advantage so much.
Yeah.
You remember the time of Mungeki, even it was so difficult. And the people who were suffering so much on Mungiki came from the same region.
Correct.
And they were unable to conduct their business peacefully. They were actually making some toll payments from them. Now, if we condemn the police at most, and we can't give them time to work, then if they retreat, Victor, I'm telling you, this country and those gangs, you will see them and will not have peace in this country.
And also it goes further to say that an election is a process. And in that process, there are players. And those players, every person must be responsible for their duties.
Yeah.
There has been a talk of Sisi Tutalinda Kura. The question is, whose responsibility is it to ensure that the sacredness of the ballot is safeguarded? Whose responsibility is it to ensure that there is no violence, the election is free, it is fair, it is credible, it can be verifiable? Whose responsibility it is? Because that is what we talk about when it's about elections.
Yes.
And if those questions are not clear, then we will be experiencing the things that we are experiencing now.
And that brings me,
further.
even as you also respond to that, Mheshimiwa, and I like the way you put it, that every person mandated to do something,
yes,
there's a JD, job description.
We begin with the IEBC because they have been
police.
mandated to ensure that elections are being conducted in this Republic of Kenya.
Okay.
And there are others, the security agencies, the judiciary, there are others. Every person must take responsibility for their duties.
Let me take a bit different tangent on this. I've had Dr. Anthony Gitonga talking about, some goons who were on the road. They blocked Thika Road at some point, which I think they were also equally dealt with by the serious security officers to make sure our nation is safe. But also, even if I challenge here Dr. Anthony and ask him, there are people, all these politicians do have some people they work with, whom they defend them so much, some sort of, a security that then tends to turn out to be the goons you're talking about. Because they have also they want to protect their territory. Even Daktari here, Anthony Kitonga, let him not talk like a saint. I can tell you, when he goes back in the village, he has a team of people, and some of these people, sometimes you cannot even control them. And that is why goons, that is why goons...
Of course, security is paramount.
That is why goons...
But they are not this kind of militia.
Very good.
You see, that is why goons...
He's just confirmed that security is paramount.
I tell you,
but they are not armed.
I tell you.
Peaceful young men.
So they emanate many times from the politicians themselves, all right? And I want to finally agree with Wafula. The work that the police officers are doing, the security officers of our nation are doing, they also deserve to be appreciated and saluted for. It would be worse off than, so
when
they're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
So what we just need to do is, yes, it's still good to still appreciate and still correct where we think we are not doing good, so that we can be better off.
There is basically focusing on the elections. There's a political and elections behavior in the country. And that brings me to what you're seeing, the political intentions versus expectations. And we all know how everything changes within a very short time. What do you think is expectation, Omwami? Because the intention of you running for Saboti parliamentary seat is quite different from what the watu wa Saboti wanatafuta kutoka kwako, right? So it's about, you said yesterday it's about promises versus?
Delivery.
Delivery, simply put. When you look at all this, Omwami, let me start with you. What do you think is the whole game plan? Because you're going to see a lot of expectations.
Yeah, you know, Victor, towards election, people promise so much. But delivery, by the end of the day, it depends. With one elected, the intention and the achievement. That is what we count. But like me now, when I'm elected as member of parliament for Saboti, I know the problem of people of Saboti that they are facing. And I'll go straight to solve those problems. And that is the expectation from the people of Saboti. Like for the nation, Kenyans, they have their expectations. I've read this paper, this one, Victor, allow me to show you. 100,000 teachers hired in 3 years. I remember my daughter finished a university and he was out of employment for almost 6 years. That's my daughter. Anyway, because I have some little cash from somewhere, she can do 1, 2, 3 things. What about those people who don't have? This is the expectation of so many people who had their children finished education, teaching, and what have you. They were expecting to get employment so that they can also survive from the income. This is the expectations of Kenyans. That's one. Two, ask me, and I remember there is a time, Victor, I told you I slept in somewhere near from Naivasha towards Nairobi, somewhere near, is it called Sokomjinga, somewhere there. The jam on the road. We spent the whole night there. What is the expectation from the people from Western Uasin Gishu, Rift Valley, that end towards Nairobi, when they face such scenario? We want the government that can ease this problem at this particular time. That is the expectations of Kenyans. The third one, Victor, we want health care. Health care is paramount. We cannot live without good, proper range to health care. This is what expectations of Kenyans are looking for. And I'm happy because sometimes we juggle around with the health of people. And more, I will take example from my county. My county, we are facing a lot of problems in health. This is a fact. Victor, every half an hour, 2 hours, you will see an ambulance coming from Trans Nzoia heading to Eldoret, taking a patient to Eldoret Referral Hospital.
Yes, MTRH.
Yes. In the next minute, you will see another one. Those people going to Eldoret Referral Hospital, 80% comes in caskets. The hospital that we were expecting that some of us, we grew up level 5, that was the district hospital of Kitale. It was closed by the governor. Simply the reason being, what were neighbor down kwa hospital, it is next to so many chemists there. The knowledge of putting precautions of protecting the medicine of the hospital is not there. So you transfer this hospital to another hospital far, which is in a small, around 3-acre land, very small. Now, when you go there, the hospital is not equipped.
Yep.
Now, finally, you find people going there, they don't survive. Health, Victor, is paramount, and that is the expectation. So, that is an example in Trans Nzoia, but I know very well it cuts across the country. So we have so many things. These are primary things that, Victor, when we are heading towards election, these are the things that we want to put mission
All right.
on.
Very good. Mheshimiwa, are campaign promises realistic?
Yes, they are. Campaign promises are realistic if you want to take the nexus with what President William Samoei Ruto promised Kenyans.
What about as an individual?
Delivering. Just listen.
Okay.
That's right. You have asked a question, and I've told you, yes, it is possible. If you want to see it from the larger scale, because if I have to explain to you about mine, I'll be talking about my own constituency. But if I have to talk that which all Kenyans, those watching us, can be able to relate with, from the national perspective, when you can easily now look at what the Kenya Kwanza government, which we all ascribe to, most of us ascribe to, I do ascribe to, now the broad-based government, all the promises, the manifesto that we put in place, Victor, is what now in the next few months, probably in the next 1, 2, 3 months, that is what we will be now explaining to Kenyans. Each of us in our own levels, so this MCA will be explaining, this is what I promised you, this is what I'm delivering. Who set that foundation? It is President William Samoei Ruto. When he said, if you are seeking for a seat, come with a manifesto, give the promise to the people, then do the delivery, what you even had Honorable Member talking about a few minutes ago, whether you're talking about equitable distribution of development across the country. And I was really touched by what he mentioned, for instance, that you open up even regions like the Rift Valley with a 6-lane road. We had never seen this for all that time through. It's only one region that enjoyed the resources of our country, where whether you're talking about dueling of the road and those kinds of things, it was to one place of this nation. But now there's this redistribution, fair redistribution of resources across, and many other things. So, is it realistic? Yes, sir, it is realistic. I have the promises that I've made. I'll be going back to my people and explaining to them, this is what I promised you, this is what I deliver. Now, it will be up to people to say, did you do it well or not? If not, they will hear about the manifesto of my competitors and see, my competitors might be saying, this is what Honorable Member, sitting member did promise. He was not able to deliver. So this is what I'm coming to do. So Kenya now has gone into a level, and by the way, we are way above, even in Africa, in terms of the democratic processes and and towards these elections, that we'll be electing people who are competent enough to say, this is what I promised, this is what I've delivered. Those of they that are saying, this is what he promised, he didn't deliver, this is what I'm coming to deliver, if you give me the chance to be able to participate in the election.
Yes. We all know that the electoral behavior of this country is that Kenyans do tend to vote out leaders.
Yeah.
Why? Based on the question I'm asking.
Yeah. Promises are important.
Because of promises delivered.
Promises are very important when it comes to an election. Because just like my good friend Mheshimiwa is saying, you need to have an engagement with the people. You need to promise them 1 or 2, 3 other things, all right? And then you need once elected into office, so you need to do those things. That's why I want to disagree with the chairman here, that it's not a celebration, it's not Christmas party when the government does what it's supposed to do, because it's exactly why they were elected into office. There is no celebration when a government comes and ensures there's medicine in a hospital, because that's their job. There is no celebration. We shouldn't have a Christmas party when we are having a road being dualed, because it's the right. That's why they're in office. No, I mean, let's be fair. Then why are you in office?
Victor, allow us
then why are you in
to
office?
you know,
No, let me finish. No, allow me. No, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
It is very important,
Allow me to
Victor.
finish. Allow me
When
to.
you
had
see
your
the
time.
major road
You had your
from
time. Allow
Nairobi
me.
to Kampala
No.
not dual.
But
you see
there
the
is no
road
party
from
because that's why they're
Nairobi
elected into office.
to Mount Kenya is dual carriage. It's not
Let me finish. Let me finish. Victor, you need to protect me here. Let me finish. No. I disagree.
Order, Chairman.
I disagree. Because the reason why Kenya Kwanza was elected into office is because of such a promise.
Why do you say it's not a Christmas party?
Because it's exactly what they're supposed to do. It's like the expectation of a parent providing to their children. It is expected. The reason why Kenya Kwanza was elected and not Azimio is because of such a promise.
Okay.
So there is no party to it. But let me finish.
Just a minute.
It's exactly what they're supposed to do. That's why they're elected into office.
That's why we didn't
Victor,
have
let me
Wajakoya
tell
being
you.
elected as president.
Victor.
That's why we didn't have Okay, Raila Odinga Daktari. being elected as president.
Maybe
allow me, protect me. No,
Daktari is a very good defender of his people.
No,
And that
which
one is
people
good
now?
for him.
I'm talking about
But
government
for this
and promises.
For this country, defender for this country, Daktari, you are not. You are good. You are
No,
good
I
defender
will.
of your people.
No.
That one is good, Daktari.
I'm going to stick
But
to
now
my
the,
point.
the
There is
the
thing
the
is,
truth
allow me
remains,
to finish my point.
Daktari.
Allow me
Well,
to finish my point.
The
I
truth
will agree
remains.
because election is a contract. When you're elected into office, there are very specific things that you're elected to do. So when you do them, it's not supposed to be another Christmas party because that's why you're elected. And I've given an example. The reason why President William Ruto was elected to office is because of those promises. So when he does them, there is no celebration because that is why Raila Odinga was never elected, Wajakoya was never elected. So please give us a break. He's doing exactly the contract that
do you
was given
remember
by the people.
the elections, President Uhuru's promise before election, if he did it? He didn't promise to extend Thika Road from Thika to Nyeri. He didn't promise that. But when he was in the throne, he continued that road to Nyeri.
And there's no
that
harm.
was not in the in his campaign.
As a good student, as a good leader, you go beyond. You go beyond expectation. That's leadership. All right. That's leadership. I haven't finished my point, Victor. Allow me. There are more things, all right? Much as we talk about whether the promises have been met, the other things we need to ask ourselves, whether are these things that are happening, are they the things that you promised, all right? We're talking about fundamental right to life, for example. Today we have seen that when young people come up and they demand for opportunities, they are met with such brutality and terror, you know, and we have even seen on June 25th, 2024, a lot of our young people were killed. Is that exactly what we asked for? No. Today we are talking about a country where all employees are really crying because of overtaxation. Is that a promise that was made? No. We're talking about these hooded men and goons and insecurity in our country. Those are the things that Kenyans will also look at in 2027. Right. It's not just about a road, a hospital, and medicine. It's also about safety and security and rights to life.
I promise you might lose the Mount Kenya.
I'm talking about
if you argue like this,
no. For me, forget about the people. We are talking about facts and figures. We are talking about what is the reality on the ground.
Because I can see the mountains coming into pieces.
I'm not here to say things that
Victor, can I?
Victor, you see the mountain coming into pieces.
Okay. Yes, Wakili.
No, we advocates.
The reason why I put you there, there is a reason why I put you there.
We advocates don't like people to heckle against each other.
It's not heckling, it's a fact.
It's highly recommendable that we speak to each other in a softer way as we drive our points home.
Yeah.
Now, the Constitution is crafted in a manner that the expectations, or rather the promises that are made by the politicians are also realistic in terms of the expectations from Mwananchi. And so there is a gap.
So there's a balance.
There is a gap between the promises and the delivery. So the Constitution is seeking, how do we bridge this gap to ensure that whatever the politician says is exactly what Mwananchi gets. That's the balance that we all need to strike. And I like what Daktari is saying, that the expectations of people in the Constitution, they have been reduced into rights. For example, the right to education, the right to health care, the right to housing. And I'm happy for President William Ruto for bringing rolling out the housing project. Because that is a right.
I know.
That is a right. So now, what needs to be done is to ensure that those rights, the state and the government of the day has a duty to ensure that they are protected and they are realized. The manner of realizing them, or rather the manner of protecting them, is what brings the difference in this table. That some
and the priorities.
That some are using force, others want it to be implemented in a reasonable manner, without using force. So how do we move forward as a country such that we don't fight amongst ourselves as we seek to bring development, or rather realize the rights that citizens have been given in the Constitution? That is the question that we need to ask ourselves. I'll be happy if the two leaders or the three leaders in this panel can focus on protecting the rights as given by the Constitution of Kenya 2010.
Mheshimiwa, how do we measure success? Because he said there is a gap between the expectations and
Promises.
Exactly. So how do we measure this success? Because in the next couple of months, the people of Nandi Hills will put you on the weighing scale.
Yes, sir.
So how do we measure this success, but now on the national platform? Because me as Wanjiku or Wanjiku out there has a lot of expectations.
Correct. Thank you very much. Even as I respond to that, allow me just to reiterate or even have a contrary opinion to what Dr. just tried to allude, that when people celebrate because they see delivery, many times when I go open projects, Victor, of what people have been expecting, for instance, the electricity, like my county never got any scheme between 2017 to 2022 because my community was thought to be aligned to the former deputy president at that time, the current president, and therefore we were completely blacklisted. No tarmac road that was made in my county in that period, no electricity. So when now this was being done, just as it's being done across the nation, what do you expect people to do? They celebrate. When these 100,000 teachers are being hired, historic, it has never happened.
No, maybe Victor has not seen it properly.
And for Victor also to know,
let me show
there are
Victor.
another
100,000 teachers hired in 3 years.
Right.
This is historic.
But it is expected.
Victor sees it properly. This is historic.
So,
but it is
do you
expected.
expect
Not
us to
from
be-
where?
That is why
have
the government was elected.
Sulking?
Okay.
Do you expect all of us to mourn when such a thing like this is happening? Historic. It never happened in the other regimes and governments when there is redistribution of development fairly across the nation. Go to Northeastern. Things that you never would have ever imagined, that there is so much value in that region. The current government has been able to open up that part of the country. Go to Mombasa, you see so much development happening. Go to Turkana, the same thing is happening. Go to Nyanza, the same thing is happening. In the previous time, it was only one region that was getting this fairly large share of development, But so when people appreciate, go to the housing program. Look, don't just look at the houses that are being built. Look at the young people who have been able to get jobs in that place. Look at the president of the Republic of Kenya, who is even now giving young people, they train young people and they give them capital to be able to start, business through a program called Nyota, for instance. People are removed from CRB that was killing young people. You are being blocked. You are not able to access credit for you to be able to grow. So these are the measures that Kenyans will be, the yardstick that Kenyans are going to use to be able to say, this is what you promised. In fact, I can tell you, for instance, you asked me to talk about the national scale. Trust you me, when the push will come to shove, or when the rubber will meet the road, in terms of explaining what the promises that the national government, President William Ruto, for instance, because I am aligned 100%, because I believe in his agenda, his manifesto, when he will be able now to explain what he's been able to do. And by the way, about 3-4 months ago, President William Ruto invited all of us members of UDA to go and explain to us, just to ask us, are we on the right track? This is what we promised Kenyans. This is what we've been able to deliver as a political party. And that is when I was talking about that President William Ruto has changed the politics of our country into, for instance, if you belong to a political party, there must be a manifesto that you stand for.
Yes.
What is it that you stand for? What is it that you promised? What is it that you've delivered? And Kenyans will be able to see that. Now, when it will come to my case in Nandi Hills, Victor, there are a couple of things that I was told clearly by the people of Nandi Hills. There's a road called Himaki Nandi Hills Road, that this road, if you don't do it, then forget. There was, for instance, the university called Koital Samoei University. And there's the issue of, in fact, I was given a program for water. There's one called Keben Dam, and there's water for the entire of Nandi Hills town, among several others, projects about institutions, schools that needs to be expanded. So those are the things that, when I even going to every polling station, every polling station is a promise I made to them. Have I delivered, or how far am I in the delivery of that particular promise that I made?
And that's
so
now the
I
question
can tell
of
you
how we measure success.
Yes. That social contract is actually existing. It is there. It is in the minds of the people. And I'm telling you, with the elevated model of politics in our country, some of you will really have some hard work, because now he has to, Dr. Kitonga here, has to go back to Othaya and just give his own manifesto vis-a-vis are people believing in the current member of parliament or the vision that they have for the people of Othaya? Just as is for the member of the Saboti aspirant here. He will have also a duty. He has his own manifesto. How far has the current member of parliament been able to do his job? So I agree with you. Yes, there are promises, and there will be yardstick to use for us to be able then to be elected. Basically, on the basis of a manifesto.
Just to one point, Victor. Okay. Like in Saboti, since in the Saboti constituency, right now, since independence, Victor, and I know when we got independence, that is 1960-something, up to date, we've never had a tarmac road. The constituency of Saboti. Hello? The constituency of Saboti. But now, the President, Ruto, has put a contractor, a road from Tarbo, passing Sekhentu, Saboti, and the base, joining to Swam. It is fantastic.
It's in Kitale.
Yes, the first one since independence.
Wow.
It's a dreamline.
Where this money all this time through?
I'm telling you, sometimes we don't throw stones without knowing the type of dog you are throwing to. Be careful. So let us go slowly, Victor. Things are changing. I believe things are changing.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So I want to reiterate.
Based on the success rate.
Yes. And I'm a leader who believes in giving credit where it's due. Fair. But I want to say that again, that election is a very important profession. And it's a contract to engage the people, Mheshimiwa. And I agree with you that manifesto is important to have that manifesto. But Kenyans have also become very empowered, and that is why you see now political leadership getting into delivery, because they know that if you don't deliver, it's going to come to another election, and they're going to ask you difficult questions, all right? It is the role of government, it is the role of elected leaders to be able to deliver their promises to the people. All right? And I must give it that I'm not saying that there's nothing happening, but I'm saying it doesn't call that for us we need now to stop everything and start celebrating. We just need to say that is exactly why you're in office. Please continue to do it. And if there is anything else that requires to be done, please do it, because that is fundamentally why you're in office. And that is why you won an election, Mheshimiwa, because of that manifesto. All right? And that is why you won the election, because of the manifesto. So when you start to do, don't expect us now to get into praise and worship. It's exactly why you're getting into, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, I will stick. It's only fair.
Victor is that he is actually in the praises, because he knows that surely President William Ruto has delivered. No doubt about it.
No.
And though he's
the other thing I've asked,
because that is what he's expected to do as a DCP member, he's not supposed to really sing this tune, because the reality is this government has delivered. They have no option. They will only be just going against that, and he doesn't want us to celebrate on account of the fact that he's expected that should not happen. But
there's a question I want to ask.
I like the fact that he's appreciating.
There is a question I want to ask all of you, because there is this important person we should not wish away: the voter. The voter, because all of you, apart from Frank here, Wakili, will face that person.
Correct.
So how do you tell that person that I deserve to be in that office? It's just a very simple question, based on the expectation and the intentions.
Number one.
How do you tell that person?
Number one, and that is why I'm in DCP. Our role fundamentally is to listen and to engage the people, all right? To listen and to engage the people, because when you're elected into office, you don't go to do your own things. You go to do things as per the needs, the aspirations, the desires of the electorate, all right? So it is important that first you engage them. And you have a good example, Mhesh, because you're already elected into parliament. So at some point, ulisikiza ground. Na umetuambia hapa vizuri that there is a road that you need to do. There is water, there is electricity, because you listened. And success will be measured on exactly whether that engagement, that listening happened, and whether those projects have been delivered. And that is why I'm in DCP. Because what we want to do when we take over government in 2027 is to respond to the needs, the aspirations of the people. And the people are saying the taxes are too much. People are saying there is safety and security is now wanting in our country. We want, even if we have roads, even if we have medicine, we want to live in a peaceful environment. We want to be sure that we can see tomorrow. I don't want to get into Nairobi streets and all the people I meet are hooded and businesses are being looted everywhere. That is not what I want. I want peace. I want safety, and I want an environment that guarantees right to life today, tomorrow, for me, for my children.
All right. Okay. Victor. Just a minute. The reason why I'm asking these questions is because there is the policy implementation. When you want to deliver, you have to talk to Mwananchi, the voter, you have to explain, because there is that cycle of election right now. And every politician is going to give his or her manifesto. That is very true. Correct. Mheshimiwa Bedet Ketur is going to come with this report card and the scorecard. You know, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. But the question that you as a voter should ask yourself is whether the promises that were made 5 years ago have been met. All right? That's number one. The promises that are being made right now will be realized. And the question, Mheshimiwa Bedet Ketur, you said that there are certain roads that you promised. There are certain projects that you promised. Out of 10, what have you, how many of them have you delivered? Out of 10?
I can almost tell you they are all on various stages of progress.
Okay.
All of them, whatever I promised. And leave alone that.
Yes.
And I want to disagree, Kidogo, with him. You must, it's not just listen to the ground. You must be visionary.
Just hold that thought. Just hold that thought. Umami.
Yes. With me, you know, I'm not the sitting member of parliament, Victor. But what I've done for supporting people, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And in terms of employment, I've assisted so many to be employed in this government and even in the previous government, but mostly in this government.
Okay.
So, and you know, the most important
what is the mind of that voter? That you have empowered them, you have supported in one way or another. What do you think is in the mind of that voter?
You know, these people, they want accountability.
Very good. Go ahead.
These people want accountability, especially when they know that this money is theirs. They want you to communicate very well.
And that voter is even in Lamu.
Yes.
All right?
And they know that their money is properly accounted. If not, they'll come vigorously against you. That is how Mwananchi is feeling right now. If you don't deliver, people will come against you as a member of parliament, as a governor. That one is very much open. And I'm realizing that one on the ground. As we talk right now, the county of Trans Nzoia cannot move.
Okay,
why? I'm giving an example. I'm just giving an example.
No, let's just widen. I'll be put on the spot to
No, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that.
That's why I've given you.
I'm just giving an example. Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
And like now, let me come the way you want. Like now, the expectation. In this paper, you can see allocations. Not allocations. The employed teachers.
Yeah, distribution.
Distribution, actually. Kitui, where Kalonzo comes from, 4,276.
Very good.
Teachers were employed. In Kitui. Victor, in Kakamega, that Kakamega population is a bit higher, 4,270.
Correct.
In Bungoma, this one, I don't know who ignited this one to that figure.
Read what is there.
3,806 were employed in teaching, in TTC. Okay. I mean, as teachers. Machakos, where Kalonzo is the bedrock. Of course, the governor is a wiper governor. But you can see 3,356. Makueni. The governor is general. He got 3,252. Victor. Homa Bay. They didn't vote for Ruto. But they have got 3,225. Kisii, my friend. Even your cousin was employed, I know that. 3,206. Meru, the side of mountain, 3,200.
There is nothing in the Rift Valley.
Narok, 2,900.
Correct.
Then people say that the distribution is not okay. It's really get proper facts before you point fingers to somebody.
Victor, I was trying to drive a message, but I think you bypassed me when I was trying to put on a very important point here. That in as far as you listen to the ground, and I want you to get it right from me, Victor, in as far as you listen to the ground, you must also be visionary. What do I mean by this? It is not just listening to what people are saying. What is it that you can now be able to do to go beyond the expectations of the voters? And that is what even the voters love more. And that is many times I disagree with them. You listen to what people are saying and then retreat back and now see what can I do it to give a better, bigger perspective. When you look at even what Wafula here, Honorable Wafula is reading here, you know, it is going beyond. We didn't promise that they were going to just be 100,000 teachers. But when the President William Ruto got into the seat, he has exceeded expectations, up and including making sure there are equitable distribution of teachers, especially to the regions that are even thought to be, they didn't vote for him. But the President, and in fact there is our one... the Wiper leader was a vice president for this country and has been the big leader, even Minister of Education. But when you go to the region where he represented, there were no teachers. But look at what President William Ruto has been able to do. You exceed expectations. So equally, even for governor, gubernatorial positions, for MCAs, for you, the aspirants, in as far as you want to listen to the ground, when you are addressing the Wananchi, there are those that they will tell you. But what can you do with that to make sure you give a better, bigger projection of what you are able to deliver for the people? So I think that is extremely critical for every aspirant and every, of course, voter who is watching me right now. The leader that you are going to elect in 2027 must be one who should be able to exceed expectations in terms of their ability to deliver and change the lives not only of yourself, but for posterity.
For the first time in this show.
We're almost landing. We're almost landing.
Yeah.
Almost landing.
Victor,
Okay.
I wanted to say this. Your question was what was in the mind of the voter. And I think in this panel, I can be considered the only voter. The rest are seeking mandates. Now, the Constitution under Article 10 and Chapter 6 gives us what we call leadership and integrity. And I think that is what should be in the minds of any voter who is going to look at an aspirant and be able to make a decision. That in as much as we are going to vote, we are asking ourselves the questions. Are the people that we are voting people of integrity? Are these people who are going to deliver? Are they going to serve the people or they are going to serve themselves? That is the question that we need to ask ourselves. The Bill of Rights, Chapter 4 of the Constitution, gives us, every voter, that which they should demand from any aspirant. In terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of development, in terms of consumer rights, because those are the kind of things that touch into the lives of Mwananchi directly. So as these aspirants are going to the people, the voters should be grounded on constitutional values, principles, rights, so that whenever they are going to face the aspirants, they are aware. And I believe, and I'm happy, that as Kenya is moving forward and nearing elections, Wanjiku is becoming more clever, more informed, more optimistic, that whoever is coming to ask for their vote is a person who can deliver.
Yes.
And I think for the voter, I want to speak directly for the voter, that let the voter be able to understand this constitution so that we don't end up with people who are going to serve themselves in government.
Okay. There's some feedback here. Allow me to read this one. And Mheshimiwa, this is directed to you. So you better listen to it carefully. They say that the MP from Nandi Hills says that the previous government only directed projects to one side. Let him tell us who expanded the road from Nakuru to Mau Summit that reduced death in Sachangwan, who expanded the road from Mai Mahiu to Narok, who did the bypass in Eldoret towards Western Kenya, who did the roads and flyovers in Kisumu and the roads from Kericho down to Kisumu, who did the road from Ahero to Sondu, then to Kericho. He should be factual.
Very well. Let me begin it first of all. Between Nakuru and Mau Summit, there was no road that was expanded. What they did is they put in between a barrier that then would stop. There were so many accidents were happening there. So they just
such a one stretch.
So they just
like
put
a kilometer.
So they just put some barriers in between just to be able to create that safe haven where vehicles were not able to collide. The other bit that you're talking about, the Nyanza region, look at that. It was because of the engagement that happened between the former, the late Honorable Baba and Uhuru Kenyatta. When you talk about the 1-2 projects that happened in Eldoret, it was between 2013 and 2017. What I talked about Nandi between 2017 and 2022. No tarmac was done.
Yeah.
So I was saying that there was punishment, a serious punishment that was meted on a community on account of the association of with the then, so to say, the deputy president. And I stand by it, Victor. A time has come that you tell each other the truth, because that is our past. All right? Our future then says that let's all be equitable and fair enough. Even when you have an opportunity to serve, don't reduce yourself to your regional place where you come from. So I think I've answered that sufficiently.
Okay. All right. Another response is, ambia waheshimiwa Wakenya wameamka.
I agree.
Ambia hawa waheshimiwa.
I agree. Kenyans, we are loyal and we agree.
You've been balkanized.
And Olkalau is a good example. Olkalau is a good example. And I will absolutely. That is why, for example, Wakenya wameamka is to say that it's not just about tokenism anymore. All right? It's not just about the handouts and the promises anymore. It's also about the quality of leadership. And that is why I said for the first time in this show, I agree with Mheshimiwa, that it's also really about vision, it's about competence, it's about values, all right, that the people will want to see in you, all right? And I can give examples because I am heavily engaged
in 1 minute,
qua ground. And people are saying that, fine, even if you're talking about a road, don't just tell us that you've done a road. We also want to know how much it has costed. We also want to know how the contractor was engaged. We also want to know how much would a similar road cost in Uganda or cost in another region. Don't tell us that it's about affordable housing. We also want to know what is the process towards it. What is the process of how did you engage Kenyans to make sure that you're getting this housing levy contribution?
Yes.
And is it working for them? Is it a priority for them? So it's not just about the outcome. It's also about the process. Okay. And that is why I want to agree with that particular Kenyan, that Kenyans are now very woke. Kenyans are very empowered. They'll be able to ask these very difficult questions.
Thank you. Frank.
Yes.
Hey, wewe pia mheshimiwa, ambia waheshimiwa wote wa Kenya wameamka.
I've just said that Kenyans were not the same 5 years ago. Correct. They are not the same today. They will not be the same tomorrow, even next year. They are more informed. They are more glued to what the Constitution gives them. And I pray that they continue reading this Constitution so that when these waheshimiwas go to the ground to seek for their mandate, Mwananchi knows exactly what they want. And they will be able to pick whoever fits in the category of what the Constitution has given them. So I agree with whoever has given that feedback, that Kenyans are not the same. Kenyans are more informed. Kenyans are looking forward to delivery of services, not just people who want to engage themselves.
Umami.
Yes.
Wakenya wameamka?
No, not now. Waliamka kitambo. Kenyans are good, by the way. Kenyans are good, and you cannot underrate Kenyans. Kenyans are the good, if you want a good testimony, you can go to get it from one of the utterances of our neighboring president of Tanzania. Said Kenya hawa akikuja hapa na hiyo mambo yao watarudi kwao, because we enjoy a lot of freedom here in Kenya. We enjoy a lot of freedom. That's a fact. Such narrative you cannot see them in our neighboring country like Uganda, like Tanzania too. You can't. But we enjoy this freedom. We put our leaders on check freely. Kenyans are good. And leaders respond positively when they are put on check. So Kenyans are good. They are not awakened now. They have been there before.
Yeah.
But with this constitution, Kenyans are showing leadership direction properly. And I want to support them too. And I am very sure coming 2027, they will not just elect people, they will elect people who have made a record on development. That is the thing.
Mheshimiwa, as you respond to that, okay, this is a direct message to you from a lady called Sylvia. I will read it. Respond.
I want to say that I want to disagree with my friend Dr. Anthony Itonga. They're trying to use an example of Olkalau as a basis of saying Kenyans wameamuka is quite unfortunate, because all these Kenyans who are viewing us know that the tribalistic connotation and foundation of the denominator was, on the tribal line. So that is not the conversation we'll be talking about. What Kenyans are, and maybe I encourage you, Anthony, if you are really a doctor, if you are thinking of really taking over from Othaya, you must have a better perspective in terms of Kenyans now will be basing and viewing everything from the perspective of where do you want to take us? This is where we are, and I agree on a few other things that is mentioned, that now Kenyans are aware. If you are doing a road, by the way, it's also happening in my place. If you're doing a road, what was the process that was used? Was it fair? Was the resources equitably used? Was it optimized? So I agree. And Kenyans now... Was the currency and the lenses that will be used is as well as we get into the future and being the leaders, even in African continent, by the way, we are way ahead in terms of creating accountability in the leadership. I totally agree that the dynamics are changing, and quite so fast so. And also the reason, one of the greatest reasons, because of President William Samoei Ruto's way that he's been able to push this nation to the next level in terms of the foundation.
Thank
so
you.
I agree that the future is getting tighter, and that is for the greater good of our generation.
I have a question. There's a request here.
Yes, please.
From a lady called Lida Lokawa.
Yes.
Naomba namba yako mheshimiwa.
Wow.
Jesus.
Thank you.
I will give you my 07. Nimsome.
I'll give you my number.
But she should be fair. Hata sisi tunatafuta kazi ya wakili.
Oh, yeah.
So we are here also, we can
to pitch.
Okay.
So since I've appointed him to be my lawyer, you can give out his number, and then he can be able to reach out to me.
I'll give you. Sylvia, I'll text you Mheshimiwa's number. Whatever you do with that number, mimi siko hapo. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Tumemaliza.
Thank you.
I think that was a very good point to leave it. Political expectations and intentions. I believe that whichever position you are, you have good intentions for us. Right?
Absolutely.
And for the country.
And the reason why we keep doing these debates and engaging fiercely is because we want a better country.
That is
It's
true.
because all of us, we don't have another country.
That is true.
God wants a better
Okay.
Kenya for all of us.
All right. Are we going to have tea all together?
Yes.
Very
good.
important.
Sawa. So, Daktari Anthony Gitonga, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best in Othaya.
Absolutely.
Frank Nyamari, Advocate of the High Court, thank you so much for coming. And Wafula Mutachi, Chair for the Kenya Trans Nzoia County, asante sana. And Saboti, we wish you always the best.
Thank you.
All right, and Nandi Hills MP, Mheshimiwa Benard Kitur, asante sana. And we wish you the best. All right, that's where we take a break. GMK continues after this. Stay with us.
Something that will get rid of him for good. I've done a background check on her, and there's nothing criminal.
Lakini nikirudi nisikupate hapa, sawa?
Nataka kuuliza kitu na nataka kuwe honest na mimi.
Stay put and do as I have instructed you. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Sama naachiliwa.
Kwa hiyo list ya Sami wasa wanakujia.
Mweke kando yako na ufanye kile anataka hadi tupate opportunity ya kurun hizi vitu kwa wazee watatu.
When you get things done, I get money. When I get money, I'm happy. Right now, I'm not happy because I don't have money.
How sure plan yako itawaka?
When things go south, Marvin, we have to get ready to roll in the dust.
Did you say hakuna watoto?
There's only one path here. Fomalhaut's cell is on the mountainside. I wonder if Tai Wei has retrieved the fruit.
General Meng, this is a letter from the Mirror Village. Read it.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs,
breaking news, and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Mugu. From politics now, let's talk matters of land succession. Because when we talk about land succession, it's not something you talk about every day, but it's something that needs to be looked at because it has the potential to unlock Kenya's hidden wealth. Now, when you talk about economy, the focus is usually on public debt taxation, creating jobs, matters of investment. But rarely do we have a candid conversation when it comes to matters of land succession, and that forms the premise or the basis of our conversation today. And I will having that conversation with Engineer John M. Mrutu, who is the chairperson of Agricultural Finance Corporation and is also the former governor of Taita Taveta County. Karibu to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
And we've actually summarized the beginning very well, because we have well, virtually in the whole country,
yes,
we have very, very many people that are living on land, they're farming on land, but legally they are not the owners of that land. The legal ownership is still with either dead parents, dead grandparents, or even dead great-grandparents. And this is not just a mere statement, because I've had the opportunity of carrying out a survey nationwide, and that's the information coming through, that over 65% of the land where people live and farm is actually belongs to dead people.
Perfect. And you've actually petitioned Parliament on the same matter, and from where you stand, this does not only become a legal issue, it translates to an economic and social development issue. Why?
Well, a number of reasons. One, and there's something as a country that we have actually missed. In Kenya, every single year, the number of people that die is about 400,000. Now, assuming that half of that live behind an estate, that translates to 200,000 people whose estates need to be solved. And if those 200,000 cases end up in courts, the figures that I have, I've been told, we have like 200 court stations in Kenya. So it means that every single year, every station has to determine 1,000 cases, which translates to 4 cases every single working day. And of course, as we know, the courts don't just deal with succession.
Yes.
There are also criminal matters, civil matters, constitutional matters. So simply said, in the structures that we have at the moment, even our court systems are not able to deal with the matter. But leaving that aside, you know, the average age of a farmer in Kenya is 65 years. And we've been wondering why. But what's coming out is clearly because the youth don't have the land. And without a title deed, they cannot borrow money to do the serious farming. So what they do is the ones that can, they try as much as they can. But also more importantly, if you look at the average maize production in Kenya is around 12 bags per acre. Now that average, there are people who produce 30 bags per acre. But for the average to be 12 bags, it means there are other people that are producing as low as 5 bags. Now, when you start producing 5 bags per acre, that is not viable, that's not business, that's actually more of a hobby.
It's like you're living, it's subsistence.
It's subsistence, yeah, and at some point you're going to run out of energy because you lose money this season, you lose money another season, you lose money another season, and at some point you simply give up. And even if you go to the dairy sector, also the average yield per dairy cow is around 10 liters per animal per day. And as we know, there are people who average 30, but for the average to be 10, it also means there are people who are doing 2 liters, 3 liters, 4 liters. So and why is the maize yield low? Why is the milk yield low? It's because you need money to buy, if it's maize, to buy proper seeds. You need money to buy fertilizer. You need money to buy agrochemicals.
Yeah.
And if it's dairy, you need money for the dairy mill.
Yes.
And if you don't have cash, the option that people have is to borrow money. But then, where is the security? And most Kenyans, the most security that is available, we normally assume it is land. But this same land, we are saying, is actually legally owned by dead persons. So we are in a vicious cycle. There are things that we want to do. We want to encourage our farmers to produce more for food security and also to reduce the import bill. But then how do they farm? How do they do their maize? How do they do their dairy if they cannot borrow money? So we end up in a vicious cycle. We have aspirations to produce more maize, to produce more milk, but we can't because we don't have security. And the reason is because of succession.
And we shall come to the area of where land becomes an aspect of financial inclusion. But then again, let's look at the current legal sphere regarding land succession. This is a national conversation. And from where you stand and looking at the current legal framework, is it outdated or complex? Where is the gap?
Yeah, I think as you said, the issue about being outdated, I've been advised, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal person, but a number of lawyers have told me that courts have made some rulings in the recent past that the succession law needs to be aligned with the Constitution. So even the courts are saying they see gaps. As they determine cases, they see gaps. And therefore, they have called upon the Parliament to review the current succession law. But the conversation is actually quite wider. And the petition that we've taken to Parliament, I'm not asking Parliament to review the laws immediately.
Yes.
What we need is a multi-sectoral task force that is going to involve Parliament, judiciary, the Office of the Attorney General, Law Reform Commission, women groups, youth groups, religious leaders, and even, cultural leaders, so that they do public participation, so that they all understand the issues properly, so that as they make proposals on the amendments of the laws, they have actually taken the views of Kenyans. And the multi-sectoral approach is important because, again, I've been advised, if you touch the succession law, it has an impact on the other laws. So you cannot just deal with succession law alone. You also have to deal with the land laws and other laws. Because, again, this issue also affects, we have an authority called Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority.
Yes.
Even there, I'm told there is money that is sitting there, and we have, relatives of people that have died, and the money is sitting there. They cannot access it because they know that is there, and eventually that money is also, eventually is taken over by the state. So that's why you need this multi-sectoral approach to look at everything that involves succession and related laws. I've given an example of land, but it's not the only one. Even the unclaimed financial assets. Yeah.
And one of your proposals is the establishment of National Multi-Sectoral Task Force on Succession and Inheritance.
Yeah.
First, why a task force? Because as a country, we have no shortage of task forces and commissions. But then again, why should the public believe that another task force will produce reforms other than just a report that will be prepared and just maybe gather dust once again?
Well, I think you have a valid point that we've had very many commissions and the outcome is unknown. But as I said, you want to, when you go through this process, you want to make sure that all angles have been covered, so that you don't end up on reforming one law, and then you'll find that whatever that law says is inconsistent with another law, with the Constitution. And the other thing that is also very important, the Constitution is very strong on the issue about public participation. You have to get the views of Kenyans. You have to understand, the pain that Kenyans are going through on this particular issue. I mean, for example, from Thursday last week, I started collecting views about this issue by using a tool called Google Forms. We created one, and we are sending it to groups and the individuals that we know, and we ask them to keep sending it out. And so far, if you allow me to check, by last night we had received 1,241 responses. And some of the issues, when we ask them, first of all, we ask them whether their family has completed the legal process of inheriting the property and assets left behind by the deceased person. And 65% said no, and 25% said in progress. Then the next question we asked them, if no or in progress, what has been the biggest challenge? And the answers are, number one, 47.5% is process is too expensive, followed by process is too long at almost 39%, followed by family disagreements at 36%, and there's a group that have said they don't know where to start. So when you go through this, there is the issue that requires changes in the law. There's also an element that requires how much is the community, our citizens, aware of the process.
The civic education around
civic education. When somebody says, I don't know where to start, they're simply in darkness.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know how the process works. So the issue about civic education. So for me, that is the strength of doing, taking that multi-task force approach.
You said something about the process being too expensive. Why is it too expensive when it comes to matters of land succession?
The information I have by talking to a number of lawyers is that the actual court fees are not very high. But as you know, you cannot just walk into a high court. You need to hire an advocate, and that's where the cost comes in. And by the way, we've also done some research on, because I thought, this problem, is it just unique to Kenya? And the answer is not unique to Kenya. What other countries have done is to have two processes, one for what they call small estates, mashamba kidogo kidogo, 1 acre, 2 acres, half an acre, and then for the large estates. Countries, and we have examples of countries like Rwanda, Ghana, South Africa, United Kingdom, and Canada, they have simplified the process for the small estates, where you don't need to end up in court. It is more administrative than legal. But of course, where there are disputes, where there is family disputes, you cannot avoid the courts. But the straightforward cases where there is agreement, where there are no disputes, then the matter is purely administrative. Yeah.
And you know, bringing together, you've talked about bringing together institutions from the judiciary to even cultural leaders. But where should we anticipate biggest disagreement? Where do we anticipate biggest disagreement emerging? And if, let's say, that task force is put in place, where should they focus on dealing with these disagreements?
I don't think it's so much a matter of disagreements. It is a matter of bringing different minds to focus on this issue and find a solution that will solve all the causes. I mean, when I was reading through the causes of these delays, we had, of course, the fact that is the cost, the issue about the length, the issue about lack of knowledge, and you would see that there are different players in each one of those. And as we said earlier, I mean, it's clearly, if the cases are just too many, there's nothing the courts can do. It just means that every single year there's going to be a backlog that is going to be pushed to next year, and of course the next year there are new cases coming up, and the backlog will just keep growing and growing and growing and growing
every day. Something about civic education around matters of succession, because from what you've said and the information you have, there's a gap in information. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that people, especially in the rural areas, know and understand matters of land succession, especially what the law provides?
A very good question, and I'm going to give you a frank answer. I don't know. I don't know who it is that is supposed to to provide that information. I don't know who it is that is supposed to do civic education. I mean, obviously, as a country, we moved from a period when, as we were dealing with the new constitution, we had a lot of partners that were willing to fund issues around civic education. After 2010, I sense that there is less priority in that area.
Yes.
People have assumed we have a new constitution. People have assumed that we all know, our rights and what the constitution says. But clearly, this is one issue that still requires quite a bit of civic education.
Civic education. From where you stand, what practical reforms could have the greatest impact if we are to deal with the issues of land successions? Do we simplify the procedure? Do we add more judges? Maybe some cases require mandatory mediation. Where should practical reforms start around?
No. As I said earlier, what other countries have done is split this into two. First of all, small estates and large estates.
Yes.
So for the small estates, the first approach is administrative. By administrative, it means if there is agreement, simply the forms just get filled. My imagination, nearest level of a government official in the rural areas is the chief's office. They are taken to the chief's office, they are stamped, and with that stamping, then they can go to the land registry for the changes to be made in terms of the ownership of the land. The process is completed. For the large estates, or where there are disputes, those can go to courts. And by the way, the 1,200 people that have responded, properties of 5 million shillings and less, and those really are small, that's part of the small estates, accounts for almost 72%. So clearly what you see is that the biggest pain is in the small estates. So my thinking and learning from what the countries have done, that has been taken away from the judicial systems, more into administrative processes.
Yeah. There's a viewer who is asking if the title deeds are in the father's name and he has 3 wives and kids with all of them, how is the successor determined in terms of the children if one of the wives is dead? That is a viewer who is asking that question. I don't know if you can respond to it.
So the question is, somebody has 3 wives?
3 wives?
Yes.
And has 3 kids. The title deeds are in the father's name.
Yes.
And he has 3 wives and kids with all of them.
Yes.
How is the successor determined in terms of the children if one of the wives is dead?
I think the answer varies from customs to customs. There are some families who would say, if somebody has 3 wives, then the property is divided using the wives. So if there are 3 wives, then if everything being equal, the first wife will get 1/3, the second wife will get another third, another one will get another third. And then it is the wives then those that fall within mother number 1, then will share that portion. And those that are in the second wife will share their portion, and the third will share their portion. I know there are some customs that take that approach. And the others that simply look at all the children and say, if there are 5 or there are 10 children, divide the property equally to the 10 children.
So even culture sometimes affects matters of land succession and how it's subdivided.
It does, and that's why in the multi-sectoral group we've included cultural leaders. Yes.
Yes, very important. Another one is asking, can the father's relatives take the land away from the children?
Interesting, Mike. Yesterday I was talking to a senior doctor, and this is it's something I also didn't know. And in the conversation, this matter came up. And he says, when somebody falls, when somebody is sick, goes to the hospital, some of the forms they sign is to declare who is next of kin. Unfortunately, of course, we all have, a finite lifespan. Sometimes, of course, we die. And, the doctor was telling me sometimes they come under a lot of pressure. Relatives come, to ask the doctors to change the next of kin.
Wow.
Yeah, and shares, it happens a lot. So then you ask yourself, why is there a push to change the next of kin? And the reason is, the widow is going to be sidelined. Yeah, these guys, these relatives are going. If there's some money in the bank, the brother-in-law, the sister-in-laws will have access to that money, and the widow will just perish.
Okay. Yeah. Let's look at this whole debate from an economic perspective, because some policy experts argue that unresolved land succession has created something that is called dead capital.
That's correct.
Land that exists but cannot be fully utilized because there is unresolved issues about ownership. Do you agree that a succession reform could become an economic reform as much as it seems to be a legal issue?
No, Mike, you're right, and we touched on it a bit. When I talked about the yield, maize yield per acre, and milk, dairy animals.
Yeah.
And as we said, if the average, again going back to maize, is 12 bags per acre, it means that there are people who are getting less. And of course, if the reverse could happen, and we make sure that all the title deeds then get changed, people have land title deeds they can use as security, that average would go up. Instead of 12, it would go up, probably approaching 20. We'll have more food to feed Kenyans, and the import bill will go down. I was talking to somebody else, and they said, by the way, Kenya produces a lot of milk, but for one reason or another, you need more milk. If we're producing butter, in Kenya, you're going to consume more milk than, you know, somebody else producing butter in, say, in Europe. And what is the reason? The water content in our milk is higher than elsewhere.
Yes.
Why is the water content higher? It's because we're not giving our dairy animals the correct nutrients that they need, you know, to thicken the milk.
Yes.
So you can actually already see the impact. That in some countries people use less milk to produce the same quantity of butter. When we talk about food production, maize and rice and wheat and even tomatoes, other people are getting more per acre. So it clearly also has an economic impact. Yeah.
And you know, there's customary practices versus constitutional rights. We can't ignore that. And customary practices, they remain influential in many communities, especially when it comes to ancestral land. How do we balance the respect between culture and constitutional guarantees that prohibits maybe discrimination against widows and daughters?
I can only say that I'm aware of, again, just reading the papers, I'm not a legal person. I'm aware of a number of cases where some widows have gone to court.
Yes.
Because they have been discriminated against, and the courts have ruled in their favor. I'm aware of several cases where married daughters have gone to court, also demanding a share of the inheritance, and the courts have agreed with them. So the issue is, indeed, we have different customary practices in Kenya, but we have one constitution. And what I've been advised is that, you know, where there is a disparity between the two, and if somebody goes to court, the courts will side with the constitution more than the customary practices. And I think that makes sense, you know, because we have 42 or 50 tribes. Now, if everybody was going to, you know, to manage their affairs on the basis of their tribes, then it's very difficult to even get alignment as a nation. And that's why the constitution is supreme. So indeed, I think we need to bear that in mind, that even where there is a disagreement, where there is disparity between the two of them, the constitution's provisions will prevail. Yeah.
And you know, there's the aspect of, when it comes to land, fraud. And it's a recurring complaint sometimes where relatives dispose of land even before succession. They conceal assets, and maybe in some cases they exclude legitimate beneficiaries. When you look at the existing legal framework within matters of land succession, is it sufficient to deter these practices, and where do we need stronger enforcement?
Actually, two things, as you say, the issue about disposal before the inheritance process is completed. You get, if you don't have a title deed and you're selling, you will not get the real value of that property. So first of all, you're going to lose, because those that are willing to buy, they're also aware of the risks that they're taking, that the matter could be challenged and they can even lose their money. So one, you're going to get, the seller will get less money compared to if they waited until the succession process is completed and then sold at that level. Two, the issue of fraud is in everything. I mean, and that is not just in land. The issue about fraud is even banks. We hear about fraud. The other day we were hearing about payroll in governments. You know, there are people that you know are earning what they're not supposed to earn, and that we must leave it to the normal legal process to determine. Yeah.
In your petition, you've also linked succession reform to financial inclusion.
Yes.
And from your engagement with financial institution, the lack of clear ownership, especially within the rural areas, is it a hindrance to access to financial inclusion? How does it play out?
No, you're absolutely right, and it is real. It is real. I mean, there is, as during the introduction, as you rightly said, I'm also the chairman of Agricultural Finance Corporation.
Yes.
And by the way, this whole issue, I stumbled on it because I was meeting a number of farmer groups. There's a day I was in Bungoma. I just stumbled on a few people and we started talking, and they started raising, the issue that, yeah, look, we have a lot of land here, but we can't access the AFC loans because the security is a title deed. In my own county, I came across that. In Kilifi, I came across that. I have friends in Meru, in Nyeri, in Nyamira. And initially, I was asking myself, why are we allowing this issue why are we not resolving this succession issue?
Yes.
So my initial reaction was to push them and say, guys, let's sort it out, because if you don't sort it out now, the more you leave it, by the time it gets to your grandchildren, it even becomes more complicated. But then the issue of the cost came up. Yeah. This small shamba now, for me to go to the High Court is going to cost me 300,000 shillings. I don't have that kind of money. So that's why I also realized that the issue is actually bigger than asking people to get through the succession process. So does it have an impact? Yes. As I've said, people are not doing farming as a business. A lot of people are doing farming as a hobby, just to keep themselves occupied. You're in the rural area. What else can you do? You wake up in the morning, you go to the shamba with your djembe, you do the much you can, but you end up with 5 bags. That 5 bags you eat, yes, I mean, give you some food, but you cannot develop beyond that. So the impact is very big.
And why should this conversation be happening now? Because what you're saying is true. Just doing farming for subsistence. But when it comes to matters of land succession, because it happens in 2 ways in Kenya. There's tested succession and intestate succession. And when it comes to intestate succession, it's where there's no valid will and distribution of land is based on Law of Succession Act. Why should we be having this conversation now?
Because my honest opinion is that whatever we have is not working, has not worked, and is not working. So we can close our eyes and say, yeah, but we have the process, we have the legal framework, let it be. But as we said at the beginning, even the courts can't cope to start with. And 2, the reality, the rural areas, people are just becoming poorer and poorer. And thirdly, let's think the converse. If we manage succession properly, and guys, the rural areas have title deeds, they can borrow money. Young people can do farming as a business and earn money, and that will reduce the migration of youth from rural areas to urban areas. People come from their villages to come to urban areas, and it's okay. I mean, of course, there are people who come to do very highly professional, highly skilled jobs, but others ni kazi za mjengo tu. With the same effort, they could have been producing food in the rural areas, but they can't because they lack capital. So the issue about rural to urban migration will also be simplified if we sort out the succession issue.
And do you see the reforms that you are proposing, is it also a way of encouraging people to write wills?
To do what?
To write wills.
Of course. Of course. And as we've actually dealt with it, the issue about civic education. Because, of course, if we have wills, then the matters get solved quicker. By the way, I also don't know the full legal framework, whether there's a will, then whether it becomes simpler or not. But as we said earlier, if there's a will and there's agreement and we revise this whole process so that for the smaller states the matter becomes administrative rather than legal, we can sort out a very large percentage of
administrative rather than legal.
The respondents, as I've said, is over 72%. Yeah, they are people with properties less than 5 million. Yeah, if we clear that, then we don't have a crisis. Yeah.
Your final remarks.
Yes.
Your final remarks.
Final remarks.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to look at this issue in two ways. That succession, if we manage it properly, then we're going to transfer wealth, we are going to transfer hope to the next generation. Without proper reforms, what we are transferring is conflict to the next generation. And certainly it's not good for any family, it's not good for Kenya, it's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Asante sana, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
That has been Engineer John M. Murutu, who is the Chair, Agricultural Finance Corporation. He's also the former governor of Taita Taveta County, speaking to us about matters that pertain to land succession and how it can unlock Kenya's hidden wealth. This conversation ends now. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwe. Vivian Ndegwe is up next with Health Tuesday. Stay with us.
True worth is found in Jesus Christ. When you're searching for identity, Jesus meets you with truth and grace.
Talk to someone who feels like, things are out of control. Instead of like driving away from the skid, driving the skid.
And I think for some of us in our faith, when we're in moments of grief or chaos or overwhelm, we think, okay, in order to connect with God best, we have to do it like that other person or the way that we used to do it. But we would be surprised to find out that the best way to experience God is to steer into the skid, in the natural way you've been wired, in the season you're actually in.
I started to get so just in love with the Lord, yearning for him, that I sought the Lord not just for him. When I decided to just, instead of balling my fist, I opened my hand. Instead of looking down internally, I started to look up. And it was in this desperate offering that the Lord met me.
Kazi ni kuingia, kuchukua mtoto, alafu basi unatoka clean.
Hakuna mali yangu hata kidogo nampatia, manake naona sasa anaanza kutumia kifua.
Haya. Yaani mimi na mke wangu tunapika chakula ya watu zaidi ya 50, alafu wanakosa kuja kwa sababu yenu.
Mimi na Andrew tuko na information kuhusu wizi unaofanyika sasa hivi.
Isijasikia mambo ya uwizi wa mabavu wala uwizi wowote.
Unajua Biblia imekataa talaka kabisa.
Sema chenye ilikuleta hapa kisha uondoke.
Nenda ningefikira Timandi ni tepe Andrew mpaka akona kizi zake za nyumba yake.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
to
make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
And you are just in time for our health segment right here on Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for staying with us. And as I had mentioned at the very beginning of the show, today we'll be having a quite sensitive conversation as we get to talk about SGBV, that is sexual gender-based violence, and the silent trauma that it is in some Kenyan homes. And we're calling it the shadow pandemic, and we'll get into that so that we get to understand why are we calling it a shadow pandemic. And I am pleased to be joined by Dr. Maureen Charagu. Dr. Maureen is a medical doctor, the Pediatrics and SGBV Clinic Department at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Research and Referral Hospital. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
It's a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
And let's shed light on this very sensitive conversation that is usually spoken in harsh tones, but we are changing that today.
Yes,
we are speaking about it, and we're going to be loud about it. Maybe we can just begin by setting base and getting to understand what exactly we mean when we talk about sexual gender-based violence.
Thank you so much, Vivian. I'd like to thank you for giving us this opportunity as KTRH. To come and have this discussion that is very important for our country and the entire world. So I'll start with gender-based violence.
Yeah.
Gender-based violence is violence or based on gender, okay? It can be male, female, yeah? And then we have sexual gender-based violence, which is violence based on issues around sex and family or marriage, or relationships, okay? Or even people who you don't know, okay? That's what gender-based violence is.
Yeah.
But it's not just about sex, but there are other things that can happen as well.
What are these other forms of sexual gender-based violence?
Other forms of sexual gender-based violence, we also have refugees, and we come from different cultures. So things like female genital mutilation, that is done for women. Also, they can use various objects to actually act in, for the perpetrator may do other things that are criminal or in line or in keeping with violence. Yes.
All right. So today we're calling this in our conversation, we are calling it the shadow pandemic. Why are we calling it a shadow pandemic?
So Vivian, a shadow is seen to the person who's very close to the shadow, right? So sexual gender-based violence or even gender-based violence has a lot of stigma in community, in families, or even in an organization. It can happen there. In refugee camps, in large communities. So it's a shadow pandemic because, physical violence, we're able to see a bruise, we're able to see a broken leg, okay? We've seen it in various TV and the media about physical abuse. But now a shadow is within the family. It's something that is hidden. Unless you actually go to the family and see what is going on, then you'll understand that actually there's been violence, but we are not able to see it. Yeah, that's what I would explain it as.
Yeah. Would you say it's widespread? Is sexual gender-based violence widespread in Kenya at the moment?
At the moment, I do not have the most recent statistics, but we know worldwide it's usually 1 in 2, 3 women are involved in sexual gender-based violence, and in gender-based violence, and around 1 to 10 are involved in the numbers, the ratios in sexual gender-based violence. So it is, I think the numbers would be higher, but there's a lot of stigma that comes with it. People have also fear when they come for help, or maybe they've been threatened, so the number might be higher, but it's just because that is what we have for now. In terms of statistics.
Yeah, it is one of the cases actually that is mostly unreported, and we'll get into that, you know. But, I want us to also clarify this, because many a times when you talk about sexual gender-based violence, the assumption for most people is that it's sexual, female-based violence.
Yes.
But when we talk about sexual gender-based violence, it's not only on the female side.
No.
Both the male and female get affected on by this. So if we can just speak about that.
So sexual gender-based violence can occur to anyone, okay? Whether you're a lady, whether you're a man, whether you're a grandmother or grandfather, a child, a small baby who's just been born, even now we have the emerging LGBTQ issues, where we have the she, her, she, him, or, those can actually happen to anyone, yes. It's not just about women.
So it's not really just about women.
It's not just about women.
It's all together.
It's everyone. Yes, all together.
Yeah, and actually reports also say that the most sexual gender-based violence that goes unreported is from the male side. And it's because I think of the kind of stigma that comes with that. Someone assumes, what do you mean? You're a man, Yes. So there's that too. Would you say that stigma is one of the biggest things that or challenges that is standing between maybe people reporting these cases mainly? Yeah.
For women, I think we have groups. Women like to talk. They have friends they're very close to. They go to church. They live with an auntie who they trust. They're able to open up. So we have higher numbers of women reporting these issues, but they're still low, okay, because of other things that influence that. But for men, there are fewer, because in Kenya, our culture, we actually have this saying that says mwanaume ni kung'ang'ana, kujikaza, kuvumilia, be a man, So there's also this issue about even women can be abusive to men. We've had those situations. So men, because of that, the way society thinks that a man should be very strong and handle this issue, we have less of them reporting because of fear, stigma, and I think also their ego is affected. Yeah, and mentally they become more psychologically affected, especially because men tend to not have friends or very close friends who they can open up to. We have less men going to church. We have those social, economic issues that, a man should be the breadwinner, all those things. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I get you on that. Now, let's talk about now the department that you are in at the hospital.
Yes.
What is this department all about, and how are you helpful to someone who may be, facing such abuse?
So the department I work in is called, it's under the Director of Clinical Services, KUTRH, where they support patients who have gone through sexual gender-based violence. And it's a collaboration with Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital and Medicine Sans Frontiers, which is commonly known as MSF. So we call it the Tumaini Clinic, which runs, there's usually 24 hours services provided. And the Tumaini Clinic, apart from medical part, we also offer we are also required to counsel the patient. This is a very sensitive issue. We run and we encourage survivors to come within 72 hours. We don't ask them for money. It's free of charge.
Oh, it's free of charge.
Yes,
for
it's free of charge.
Who's experienced sexual abuse.
Yes, because already sexual abuse is, you're already traumatized. You are not prepared for this. So you just come as you are. And we're having, nationally, the Ministry of Health, we have guidelines around sexual gender-based violence. We have the Constitution, we have the judiciary that, is, and the Ministry of Gender and also the Ministry of Health. So nationally, we are well, and also the police, So we collaborate with many multidisciplinary departments and sectors. So it's not just about, a patient can come or a survivor can come and they have a physical injury. So we have to look at the survivor holistically, the physical, the medical part, and the social issues that the patient has. So we are able to offer counseling. We are also able to prevent issues that come with sexual gender-based violence, especially when it comes to penetration, okay? So there are diseases that a survivor can get, such as HIV, hepatitis B, sexually transmitted diseases. The most common one people know is gonorrhea, syphilis. There are others like chlamydia. Also tetanus we have to prevent. So we actually also offer some treatment to these patients or survivors so that we prevent even unwanted pregnancies. So contraceptives, because this is trauma and you do not want to inflict more emotional damage. We want to work this patient in towards healing and recovery. Yeah.
You've given that time window of 72 hours. Does it mean that that is when treatment is most effective? I would like you to elaborate further on why it needs to be ASAP, as soon as possible.
So it needs to be within 72 hours because, again, disease time is very important when it comes to prevention of disease. So, again, some medication that we use for treatment, they're more effective within the 72 hours. So if you want to prevent pregnancy and we're using emergency contraception, we need to use it within 72 hours. We have, how do we prevent HIV? Okay, we have to go through with the survivor, understand, do they understand HIV? Can they give us consent to test for HIV? So if we test and they don't have HIV, then we can offer them something called pre-exposure prophylaxis or post-exposure prophylaxis, which is an ARV specifically made or given to prevent HIV, patient developing HIV disease. So, and it's given within 72 hours. After that, we really don't give. Again, we have the contraception issue. So we also, we want to prevent pregnancies and unwanted pregnancy for that matter. That's why 72 hours is very important. And also within 72 hours, you'll have the survivor. Maybe we usually encourage they come as they are. Do not shower, do not change your clothes, because you have evidence with you. So when you shower, when you take a bath, when you change your clothes, all that goes away. Okay? And we have to collect some samples, one for the government, the forensics, that's the DNA, because that's forensic evidence. We leave it to the legal team. And then we also take to test, for other, whether there's seminal fluid, semen, or we can test that on a microscope. So it's important, once a patient comes on time, we take all those clothes and we are able to gather evidence and give it to the forensic departments to follow it up.
So you clearly work closely with the law enforcement side, right?
Yes.
So for someone who's experienced this kind of abuse, when they come to the hospital, can you treat them before they go report to the police? Or there's that, there's usually that, I don't know if it's actually what it is or it's just a myth, that when you go to hospital, you'll be turned back to go first to the police to report, and then you come back to hospital. So if you can just clarify on that.
So I'd like to let the viewers know that we value you just coming as you are. We approach this matter with a lot of respect, a lot of dignity of care, kindness and compassion. So, and we are we ensure that the matter is handled confidentially. And we prefer you to come first to us. We can give you counseling. It's a very traumatizing incident. But if someone goes to the police department is well trained in gender matters. So there's a section or a department that the police has specifically for gender-based violence issues, and also sexual gender-based violence falls into that. When the matter goes to the police, then the police are also able to send them, because they'll document it, everything, but they'll send them with their post-rape forms that we fill. So they come so that they were able to take a history from a medical expert, and that history, in case this matter is reported if this survivor wants to pursue the matter legally, then we use that history with other documents like the P3 forms from the police, so that the matter can be followed up in court for justice for the patient, for the survivors.
Yeah, so you work closely with them, and
yeah.
I mean, immediately it happens. If you can get to the hospital,
yes,
the better.
The better.
That's the best.
That's the best.
The best way to go about it. Then you can report afterwards.
Yeah, it's going to the police is not an emergency as getting the medical care, because prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Now, what would you say are some of the gaps that are still yet to be filled when you talk matters SGBV specifically in our country?
Yeah. I think some of the matters that yet to be filled is that the way we study history about Hitler in high school. There's some things that we need to learn as young as we're in primary school, about what is sex education, so that children actually know if this and this happens to you, just come to me as a parent or as a guardian, and it's an offense that has been committed, it's violence, So we have those issues in terms of education and knowledge about sexual gender-based violence. Again, we have elderly people. Sometimes we also have people who are mute, and they cannot talk, they cannot say. So we've had an incident of such a patient, and that's the time you involve experts who are good in sign language. Disabled people are also, sometimes can get violated. So some of the gaps that we have is we have those minority groups. We have survivors coming from refugee camps, and that's where they can only get food. Sometimes people have, the level of poverty, or because of the unemployment that we have, you find people will actually get coerced, or controlled sex for fish or for food, or even pocket money. Or we've had cases in workplaces where there's harassment for a certain position. But I would also like to say that we need a lot of political and judiciary advocacy for this issue. So we need to talk about it like we talk about elections, okay? Like we talk about employment issues. So there's a political aspect, the economic aspect. We need to collaborate as much as we can with different sectors to actually fund these hospitals, to fund the police, to motivate the police, so that people are aware that, you'll get help, even for police to be trained on mental health, how to approach a patient, so you don't have a patient fearing or a survivor fearing to go there. Another issue is we also have technology. Yeah,
that's true now.
I think nowadays a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old is already using a mobile phone, and we have perpetrators who are already in the digital space. So we have social media issues.
Yeah, and there's also sexual grooming online.
Yes,
that's happening currently.
Yes, and then there are threats. If you don't do this, I will expose you online. Okay, so there's also that technological bit. There's the economic part, where someone is a breadwinner and they emotionally abuse the partner, or financially abuse. There's also economic abuse. So it's not just about sex, it's about power, control, about financial control. So you find that even survivors staying because they either love this person, they are there for their children, or they have no money for them to actually start over. Yeah.
And speaking of help and just creating awareness that there's help out here, you had mentioned to me earlier on that the department that you are in, which offers this help, this kind of help, is quite new. It started this year.
Yes, for our hospital.
Yes.
in March. We launched it in March with various stakeholders from the government, including the police and other hospitals around us, and MSF as well.
Yeah, so to think that it's such a new department, and this is something that has been ongoing, it shows that there's still so much gap when it comes to help.
Yes.
After, you know, for the survivors, for the people who have gotten to experience this kind of abuse, or for someone who's actually experiencing it. So maybe are there other places where someone can go ask for help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to say that we are lucky to have public hospitals under the government that offer sexual gender-based violence. And our sisters and brothers in terms of organizations, we have the Kenyatta National Hospital that offers these services for free. And they have the psychological aspect. There's a medical part and the psychological well-being that is taken through. There's also you know, there are sections that they have the adolescent clinic for mental health. There's the child wellness clinic that KNH has. And I believe Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, all these hospitals, as long as there's a mental health department, they do. Ours is new, and we appreciate it because we are growing. We are not as old as Kenyatta, but we are lucky to offer these services. We also do have private hospitals that do offer these services. So all doctors who are trained in Kenya, after graduation, and they go through internship, they know how to assess patients and offer the best service to patients. It's that the issue might be the hospitals in the periphery or in different counties, they might not have a department called sexual gender-based violence, but there's a way they can collaborate with the maternity or what we call obstetric and gynecology department, internal medicine, pediatrics, based on the patient age and how they can handle it.
Yeah. Are there warning signs that one may be able to tell that maybe there's abuse happening in this home, or, you know, with this person? Are there warning signs?
Warning signs, usually you find for women, they might be very silent. Then if someone was very outgoing before, maybe they had a partner or they got married, you find they'll be less, they'll isolate themselves. They'll be less, for children, for example, there'll be fear. For children, when they go to school, you find they might be doing badly in school, or they were performing, they were A students. So there are signs, sometimes anxiety signs, maybe someone you're working with, and you find that they are very anxious when handling an issue, or they see a gentleman, or they see there's something that they might that might take them back to that scenario. So those are some of the issues that or signs that can be seen. Again, it's not a physical, there's no physical evidence. It's more emotional, and it's hidden. We cannot see it. It's a struggle, but we need to have an environment that is psychologically safe for people to open up.
Wow, okay. I can see some messages are coming in via our WhatsApp line, which is actually on our screen, 0707-303-212. If you have any questions that you may like to ask concerning or regarding the same, you may be free to do that on our WhatsApp number. Someone is saying, the shadow pandemic plus others going to hospital first, the victims get overtaken at police stations, the offenders report first and overturn the case. There's that too. All right, that is Carl Martins. Thank you for sharing, Carl. And then we have this other one saying, how can I be able to reach out to them at Kenyatta University for help? That's Pamela from Moy's Bridge. Daktari will talk. We'll mention that, where you can be able to find help through them. And how does Tumaini Center work? Okay, I don't know if that is also, okay. She'll also be able to answer that. If you've got any questions regarding the same, feel free to ask them via that WhatsApp line. So, Doc.
Yes.
Pamela is asking how they can be able to just reach out for help through you.
So sexual gender-based violence is an emergency. No human being deserves violence. Okay? So you can find us, Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital is along Northern Bypass. And once you arrive, you need to go to the accident and emergency where they can triage the case, and we can, you'll be taken to a place where we actually review you with a lot of privacy and confidentiality, and no one needs to know. Yes, that you're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's someone who had asked about the Tumaini Center and how that works.
So Tumaini Center is open 24 hours. We do have, so it works, you know, once a survivor is around the hospital and they're taken to Tumaini Clinic. We offer various services, as I've said. We'll do the medical assessment and see how you are medically and treat according to the issue that or prevent the issue that might develop in the line of in the medical line. But we also do ensure that we offer counseling and mental health management and care, so that you're able to. That is actually trauma, and trauma is different for everybody, and sometimes recovery from trauma can take 1 month, some can take 2 months, some 1 year, some 10 years. So when you come, we do the counseling. We also do reviews. You're given return dates so we can help you accordingly. And we also do have referrals. So if the matter is too heavy for us to manage, we do involve the national hospitals like KNH as well. But the government also comes in, and it's actually, they ensure that the service is offered for free. So you don't have to think about how much you're going to pay. You just come and we'll offer the service to you. Yeah.
All right. I believe that Bridget, Pamela, and we didn't answer Carl. Carl had mentioned about the offenders being the first ones to go report. I don't know if you are the best place to answer this, but some overturn the case, while maybe the survivor or the person who has been abused is taking care of their health first before they go report. Then the perpetrator decides to go report the case first.
So usually, those are kind of manipulative tactics from the offender or the perpetrator. I believe the police is able to understand the case, and they will listen to each person who's reporting. But when a survivor comes to us, the offender has no business knowing that you've come to us. Okay? Our priority is to give the best care to this survivor. So we are very keen on privacy and confidentiality. We do not alter. Actually, when you're taking a report from a survivor, we write it as how by how they say or they report the history. We don't alter or summarize it. So that is what we feel in our post-rape form. And that is evidence enough for the court. So the court uses that post-rape form, and also the P3 forms. There are various forms that we actually fill for medical legal issues and forensic evidence. We also do, remember I told you we take 2 samples. We have the hospital sample, and we have one sample that is, we do DNA. It's taken to the government chemist by the police. And there's also various records. Who has taken this sample as the police? They have to write it down. Who is handling it? So there's accountability that sample is not lost, that sample is not altered. So once it's the case continues and it goes to the courts, they're able to ask for forensic evidence. What's the result on this DNA? Even things like hair. Remember I told you, do not shower. Hair or any evidence that we may collect and give to the police can be assessed by forensic experts and pathologists as well.
All right.
So altering, that will be determined by the judicial system, but for us, we offer the best we can in terms of medical care. Yes.
And there was actually a push for, such cases, the sexual based cases or sexual gender-based violence cases to have separate courts. You know, there was a push for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe from Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and we've seen other judges like currently the Supreme Judge Njoki Ndung'u. We know her work in human rights and the gender issues. I think when you go to court, the courts that we have, and I pray that the government is able to develop this judicial system and support them, because we need actually courts that just handle sexual gender-based violence matters as a matter in dignity. We don't need to be mixed with so many people in one room with different cases, others agriculture related, business related, others, you know, maybe they were thieves, others are mad, you know, homicide related. This matter needs privacy, because again, people will fear who is listening, who's in this room.
That's true.
You know, so, and it's a matter you don't want to increase the trauma to this survivor or harm. Because remember, the harm is invisible, we're not seeing it. So we have to be very compassionate on how we handle. And compassion begins with us giving them their own psychologically safe space to, you know, give us information, and for the judicial system to handle it with dignity.
Yeah, I really hope that will come to fruition.
I believe there are some courts. I'm not so sure. I'm not a lawyer or a person who works in the court, but there are some courts that actually have implemented that. I think, but I'm not so sure which ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of support, maybe just for the people who are maybe around the survivor, you know, from the family members to maybe the friends, those around them, what kind of support should they be offering to the survivor?
So the support to a survivor is survivor-centered. So survivor-centered support means that you offer them a safe space where they can share what they have. So you tell them, I hear you, we can talk, we can, you know, even shelters. Actually, these places we have for patients who or survivors who have been abused and they're not able to go home, they are sheltered. And if the hospital is not able to shelter them for a very long time, they can send them to national hospitals. So you can offer shelter at home. For men as well, I've encountered men who have been abused. There are shelters as well. Please do not fear. The hospitals have shelters. MSF clinics offering gender-based violence care also do have shelters for men. So I hope I've answered your question.
You have actually. And still on the same line, you know, this is something that may actually even be lifelong in terms of what it does to someone's well-being, mental well-being. So the support services available after, you know, and that is one of them where you talked about the shelters for someone who's maybe experiencing this and it's in their home. So there's the shelters. Are there other services that are after services, you know, support services available after?
After?
Yeah, after they've come to the hospital, they've already been treated.
Yes.
Are there services that are offered after?
After, usually, it's mostly reviews. Where you're reviewed in a clinic, you're given a return date. Medically, that is what we do. But there are also shelters, I believe, some non-governmental organizations have that support women or men, and they can be given opportunities to actually earn an income in those, or learn a skill to earn an income, and they don't have to go back to where they were before. Again, I think that's the best I can answer for now.
But I can imagine the counseling can be, you know, ongoing.
Counseling is ongoing. Counseling, if you go to Mathare Hospital, you might find free counseling that is there. So mental health, you know, health, there's no health without mental health, you know, and health is about physical, mental, and social well-being. So if families can support their survivors on giving them maybe a better job or supporting them, giving even for families they can support their own, and handle the matter. Community elders can be taught about this issue and how they can handle conflicts and mediation and all those things. But yeah, that is what I can say for, yeah.
All right. As we finalize on the conversation, maybe what would be your message to a survivor who's watching us right now, and also maybe for someone who's facing abuse as, you know, in the moment, maybe they keep facing it in the house or elsewhere. What would be your word to those two people?
Oh, to any listening survivor who's out there, I'd like to tell you that we are very sorry for what you've gone through. It's something that is very traumatizing. I'd also like to tell you that there is hope, and you should not fear, because violence is not love. Violence is violence. So if you're experiencing this issue, please go to a hospital that is close to you within 72 hours, especially if it's sexually related. And also report to the police. Have it on record, and then that matter can be followed and you can get justice. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Your final remarks?
My final remarks is this is a public health issue. This is a human rights issue. This is a societal issue where we should all be involved, and we should ensure that every person in Kenya understands what sexual gender-based violence is, and offer the best support we can to them, whether it's medical, whether it's judicial, whether it's in terms of law, in parliament. We can have the parliament having better laws to handle this matter. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
And not be afraid. Don't be silent.
Most importantly.
Yeah, no silent. Vunja kimya. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so very much for joining us for this conversation. And I echo what Dr. Charago said. Do not be silent. Do not suffer alone. There's help out here. Just seek the help, and you will be able to receive that help that you need at this specific time. Now, this is where we end this conversation, and I want to finalize together with my colleagues Mike and Victor, and they also had different conversations this morning. We've had quite a packed up show. Victor in the morning was speaking matters politics, and specifically there was a versus. There was intention versus expectations.
Yes.
And we also had Mike speaking about land succession. If we may just begin with you, Victor, you know, if you can just sum up what came out of that conversation as we finish.
My panelists were Bernard Kitur, MP, that is Nandi Hills constituency, Wafula Mutacho, Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia, and political analyst. I also had Anthony Gitonga, who is a political analyst. He's also vying for a political seat in Othaya, and Frank Nyamari, who is an advocate of the High Court. Let me just give you a quick update. One of the viewers said, I'm just going to give one of the feedback very fast.
Yes,
he said that the Nandi MP is not Frank. How did the Nakuru-Egerton flyover come about if the road was not expanded? How about the Mau Summit-Kericho Junction flyover about? I have been using that road from 1992. Another one is mimi naitwa Evans kutoka this Kiswahili is so hard. Wanajua Mheshimiwa William Ruto amefanya kazi, sisi tunataka uongozi bora. Fine. There's another gentleman here called Chief from Uganda. His number starts from +256 770 and ends with 548. He says that he is watching the show from Kampala, Uganda. He admires Kenya's politics. That is Chief from Uganda. A quick update. What happened is that politicians will always give intentions, that is, to be elected. But Wanjiku, who is a voter, has an expectation. And that is why I had to put him on the spot so that they can give us the real deal. Are they going to deliver what they're promising? And as you've heard, they said that yes, hope and promises is what sells in politics. So that was that. Tomorrow is another day. We'll have a very good show.
I love that, and I love that we have this conversation, and they're specifically for our viewers, for the Wanjikos who are in charge, actually, of everything else around this country.
Yeah,
Mike?
Wanjiku must know that power belongs to them. In fact, let me just say, you as a voter, as a Kenyan, power belongs to you. Article 1, it's as simple as that. So, Make a good choice, Mike.
Very important. And the conversation I was having centered around matters of land succession, and that conversation I was having with Engineer John Mrutu, who is the chair Agricultural Finance Corporation, and the whole idea is to make sure that the process, he's looking forward for reforms within matters that pertain to land succession to make it more administrative as opposed to more legal. Because when it comes to matters of land succession, many people are living on land whose title deeds are in the names of people or relatives who passed on quite a long time ago. So that process, and one of the feedback that he got, because he has interacted with feedback from Kenyans, is that the process is too expensive. And number two, there are Kenyans who do not really know about matters of land succession. They do not know where to begin. So that is what we were talking about, and the idea is to reform matters of succession so that you do not transfer one problem to the next generation. Yeah.
Love that. And you know, one thing about the conversation that I am just from having with Dr. Charagu is the fact that, you know, just to let it be known out there that despite this topic being a topic that has been a sensitive conversation for the longest, being a topic that has been really hidden under the carpet for so long, it's time for us to break the silence. And it's really good to once again put it out there that in case you're experiencing any kind of sexual violence, just know that there are hospitals that are offering free services for this. So do not stay in the house, do not be silent about this, just go to these hospitals. As the doctor has mentioned, almost all public hospitals are offering that. So don't be silent, just break that silence. We need to break it. And this is where we are ending this conversation. Now I don't know what you'll be doing with your time, Victor, as the football lover. Football is over. Now what are you doing with your time?
No. WAFCON is coming up.
Exactly.
WAFCON is coming up.
And Harambee Starlets?
So Octopus Olo continues.
Octopus is fully recharged.
Comes back shortly. Anyway.
And very soon we'll start the EPL. Thank you for watching.
This. Thank you for watching.
All right.
See you tomorrow, God willing.
Octopus Olo.
My name is Mike Bigwe.
There's only one path here. Fomalhaut's cell is on the mountainside. I wonder if Tai Wei has retrieved the fruit.
General Meng, this is a letter from the Mirror Village. Read it.
True worth is found in Jesus Christ. When you're searching for identity, Jesus meets you with truth and grace.
Talk to someone who feels like, you know, things are out of control. Instead of like driving away from the skid, drive into the skid.
And I think for some of us in our faith, when we're in moments of grief or chaos or overwhelm, we think, okay, in order to connect with God best, we have to do it like that other person or the way that we used to do it. But we would be surprised to find out that the best way to experience God is to steer into the skid in the natural way you've been wired in the season you're actually in.
I started to get so just in love with the Lord, yearning for him, that I sought the Lord not just for him. When I decided to just, instead of balling my fist, I opened my hand. Instead of looking down internally, I started to look up. And it was in this desperate offering that the Lord met me.
something that will get rid of him for good. I've done a background check on her, and there's nothing criminal.
Lakini nikirudi nisikupate hapa, sawa?
Nataka kuuliza kitu na nataka kuwe honest na mimi.
Stay put and do as I have instructed you. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Sama naachiliwa.
Uko kwa hiyo list ya Sami wasa wanakujia.
Mweke kando yako na ufanye kile anataka hadi tupate opportunity ya kurun hizi vitu kwa wazee watatu.
When you get things done, I get money. When I get money, I'm happy. Right now, I'm not happy because I don't have money. How sure you plan yako itawaka?
When things go south, Marvin, we have to get ready to roll in the dust.
Did you say hakuna watoto?
Wakati unalia katika hiyo aya, Mungu anasema qala rabbi lima hashatani ama, ewe Mola mbona unanifufua mimi kipofu wakati kuntu basira, na mimi nilikuwa na macho yangu nikiona kisawasawa. Mwanadamu anajitetea akisema ati alikuwa na macho yake ya kisawasawa ya ndani ya kuona ibada yake ya kumuona Allah na utukufu wake, amesahau kwamba yeye ni yeye.